This episode of Keeping Tabs is brought to you by Doot Loot, your one-stop shop for Japanese and Russian foils. If you spend $100 or more, you'll earn free entry into our online CEDH league this month. So don't miss out and upgrade your deck's bling today.
CriticalEDH, roll out.
Dude, that was a great sound coming out of your mouth just now, dude.
Yeah, that's Optimus Prime after he gets a gas station cigar, baby. Dude, happy New Year's Eve, bro.
It is indeed New Year's Day on release, New Year's Eve on recording.
Yeah, we were planning on meeting in person with more people, but not only were there some victims of New Year's Eve planning amongst the crew, but also Level 7 was closing like 30 minutes from now. So, I don't know. Even if we got paid to, I don't think we could end up pulling off like a 30 minutes keeping tabs video.
No, it's not possible. They've gotten longer throughout the year.
We'd have to pay the overtime bill for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're like this close to getting sponsored by like Brandon Sanderson due to like the volume of stuff we're putting out.
Yeah, so we had a really fun Fringefest, at least I did. What about you guys?
I also did. I had a good time. Yeah, my first two rounds were really rough, but we got there in the end. It was good. Got to top 16 or top 13.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, the Fringefest was this weekend. It was basically an event we have every year. Well, I say every year, but it's now twice that we will have every year at one of our local game stores, and all of the popular commanders are banned.
Yeah, and then we also carry on the winners from the year before. We'll throw those back on the list and see what happens for next year.
That's fun. Yeah, we just gotta keep banning commanders till the only one that's left is Hashaton.
Everyone just plays Hashaton.
Yeah, everyone plays. Even that, I'd rather just play solo Prismatic Piper.
Yeah,
I think I don't remember the first time that I ran into this. I think you were the one who was suggesting it, Logan. But I love the top 13 structure. You have three pods, and then the player 1C gets the bye. Because I find playing for an hour and a half break way more motivating than playing for more aggressive seeding and top cut. Like if you're like, my Ristic study is going to get out before Italy, I'm like, that could be pretty good. If you're like, you have time to go to Popeyes, I'm like, you need to let this data pack resolve big.
I agree like 100%. I think like the top 10 structure is also good. And I think top 40 structure, which is what we're going to be testing, is also going to be good. Obviously, like we haven't tested it yet, but it's the same idea, right? That the top seats get the bye, which
top
is
8 get
amazing.
the bye, and then the 32 play for it. Yeah, I totally agree. The top cut structure, top 16 is fine, but I think that it's a little overdone. And most of our events are either too small to have a top 16 or they're too big. And then if they're too big, they really should be cutting like top 40.
Yeah.
I like it as a really good way of like, it's not that you're disincentivizing like draws. You're just increasing the value that winning a game has, aside from just like stapling on extra points to it, and giving like more reasons for when someone sits down at a pod as they're mulliganing to think to like, man, like if with a hand like this, I can like close it out in maybe like, 30, like 40 minutes. And I think that like finding more ways to like inspire players to like want to win in ways that don't affect the mechanics of the game, like introducing like a scry, or like, this player draws an extra card or that kind of stuff. I think I always find those type of solutions like really, really elegant, especially if it means I get to go grab some fast food while everyone else is stuck in the pits.
Yeah. It does help.
Well, this tournament I did not make first seed, so I did not have the bye, and I had to play through top 13 game with Austin.
Yeah, there was a grueling top 13 game too.
Yeah, and then I had to play another game after that, after I won, and it was like, golly.
That top 13 game, I think I played so well until my last turn, and then I tilted because you counterspelled my Orcish Bowmasters.
Yeah, he was like, guys, he's doing this because he wants to win. And I was like, I was like, wait. My opponent just to my left just played the Jin Gataxias that strips everyone's hands. Maybe I should let this resolve.
Yep. And I'm immediately afterwards, and I'm like, What am I supposed to do? Like, Chris is staring at 35 cards in his hand. I was like, there's no way a win attempt gets through, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's not possible through that and a counterbalance. But I was just like, I'm gonna jam anyways.
Yep.
And I did have a line. I just needed to play my Bowmasters back and kill this Jin Gataxius again. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I tilted. That's the
tournament
moral of the story.
brought up a lot of interesting situations, and these are situations I think we would not come up to otherwise. I mean, there were definitely like, yeah, the commanders were different for sure, but I found myself mentally exercising a lot during this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, agreed.
There was just a lot of unexpected things. I was like, man, I don't know how to deal with this. Also, like, I'm dying to combat damage over turns, and like I need to find a way to stop.
Yeah,
Like,
that was a real threat. That was my attempt to getting rid of Logan's Grafdigger's Cage on Master of Keys was just hitting him with Master of Keys.
Yeah, I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, is now the turn I remove it? Well, I'm not dead yet. Okay, nah. I'll wait another turn. But it wasn't just that game. It was other games as well. Like I had to, like my round one with Jason, we drew that game because the other three players were trying to put my death on the stack. So Tatiova took turns, presented like essentially my death, and I was like, okay, I'll draw, fine.
Yeah, it was a super fun tournament. I finally got to like do the Master Keys game plan that I'm like thriving for in that deck. I think it was my round 4, where I just like jammed everyone into mid range hell, and then eventually had like a Tithe and Heuristic out into play. And I put Abdel in the graveyard, and I just cast Animate Dead like 7 times. And they're like, what? And I was like, eventually it's gonna go through, right?
Yeah, we didn't have a whole lot of stuff like happening this week. We wanted to just quickly kind of recap a little bit about this tournament. I have a recap from my run in the tournament up on the channel now if you want to go watch it. Otherwise, I think we'll use this video, this keeping tabs, as a kind of yearly recap about where we're at as players and as a team and as a channel and all that kind of stuff. So anything else about the Fringefest?
No. I mean, just stoked for the next one, really.
Yeah, we might have to do one middle of the year or something.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to have it like be a gold or maybe even like a larger event.
Or
maybe do it like right after the invitational. Like you have all these people who have been like, only playing Blue Farm for like 4 months, getting ready, and now they can't even play anything with like partner. They can't even play Tinda Halana.
Yeah. I think that there's and don't hold me to this, there's a non-zero chance that we try to run a league that's Fringefest, which would be kind of cool.
Well, I think the Sprint League's working out well, and that kind of brings us into our next couple slides. But we could do something like the Sprint League with the tournament, or sorry, with the tournament structure of like the Fringefest. But we wanted to quickly go over our league stats for this year. As a reminder to everyone, CriticalEDH started this year, so this is all kind of new to us. And the league we started in like May. For me, I kind of wanted to start something. Everyone else was like, that's like too much to manage. It's not, how popular is it going to be and all that stuff. And I was like, I want a way to play like cEDH while I'm like on paternity leave. And that's kind of the whole reason the whole thing started. And now it's turned into this, and it's pretty incredible. I wanted to say thanks to everyone for playing, and it's just
13,000 games played in what feels like roughly 6 months. Is pretty insane. And it just keeps growing and growing and growing. And yeah, thank you. Honestly,
I just can't imagine that many games. Like it doesn't. I can't comprehend it.
Dude, so like a good thought experiment is like imagine we had like a fourth person, Jordan or Jax hanging out here with us, and if we sat down with the goal of between the 4 of us playing 13,000 games of CEH. Just how long that would take.
Years, like actually years, right?
Yeah, one of us would probably die first. Like that's insane. And yeah, just like Logan said, I think to date, and I say this as someone who has lost a lot in CDH. I think the original discussion about the league is still probably one of my biggest L's because Logan threw the idea out there, and I was having it on. It's like, I don't know. I just don't know. And then Logan's like, I feel like this could work. I feel like there's something here. And then instantly it just catches like wildfire. And it's been so cool to see. I think the league has also facilitated a lot of like other members of like the critical EDH team kind of stepping into new roles. Like I feel like Austin, you've really like been hitting home runs, reaching out with like sponsors and alter artists and stuff like that. I think it's been really nice not just to see it as a way that can grow our team, not only as ways that it can help grow the channel, but also it feels like it's helped grow CDH in a lot of ways. I think reading over the comments in our videos, a lot of people who either didn't have avenues to play CDH other ways, or maybe they had some negative experiences and one say same in some way, shape, or form in like other online leagues. A lot of people seem to have found a home in the Critical EDH League, and I think that's something that I am like so proud of is that Logan saw that idea through. That there's been people that have helped kind of fall behind that vision, and yeah, 13,000 games is insane. That's like nutty, bro.
13,000 games. If you imagine every game is an hour, do you know how many days that is?
Oh, I have
geez.
no idea.
It's 540 days.
Jesus Christ.
That's like MOBA level hours of like investment.
Yeah, but over only a couple months.
Those hours, bro.
Yeah.
Only over a couple months though, and that's just like I love the fact that we're like building a community, and I feel like the community, there's this crossover between people that play in the league, and then there's also the people that watch our content, and then also just it's just cool to have all these different aspects and be involved with these different things.
And also shout out to the judges that help make this happen. I don't know if I've ever resolved a ticket, but I see at least like 5 or 6 pop up on my notifications a day. And we are like legit in like the thousands of like tickets resolved at this point, right? Like, and so that's a lot of people who, either they're in their own game and they're like taking a second to like stop in and explain something about how Deadpool works, or it's just people who are so passionate about CDH and so passionate about the league that they dedicate their own time and energy. And so, in addition to the judges, also thank you to the players, because like this doesn't happen if people don't watch videos and they're like, hey, that league sounds like an interesting idea. Or, it's not like everyone is always having a great time. In these 13,000 games, there are people who had like a really rough time. They had the mulligan down to 3. They sat the entire game in like seed 4, and they're like, this is terrible. And then when they got out of that hellish game, they're like, I'm gonna queue up for one more. And for me, that's what these 13,000 games really kind of like emblazon, is this idea of so many people saying, okay, one more game. I can't go to sleep until I get a good one in. I have so much respect for that. Yeah.
I think I said that exact phrase the other night, and I was playing in the sprint, and I was like, it's like 2:30 in the morning, and like I punted pretty hard because I'm tired. But I'm like, I can't go to bed like that. And so I played another one.
Yeah, the difference between 4 hours of sleep and 3 hours of sleep isn't enough to knock you up again.
Speaking of the Sprint League, it's still going on, and by the time this video releases, we'll have 4 days left. That's plenty of time to get your required 12 games in. And the prize pool is growing with every member, and all of that prizing is going back to the players and the judges. So we want to make sure that we take care of our judges and especially the people that are playing over the holidays. Like, it's not an easy thing to do if you're with family and all that stuff. But if you're not doing those things, we want to give you a place to play and compete and continue to practice. And I think some of the feedback we've been getting about the sprint has been different, because people are like, damn, that was like one of the most intense games I've ever played, was just a random sprint game. So
yeah, I'm stoked to hear that people are enjoying themselves in the sprint league. The higher prize pool and higher entry is really incentivizing people to really focus on fundamentals and focus on like actual tournament prep, because this is like true tournament winnings, right? So it's pretty cool.
all right, not much else to say about that. Otherwise, a couple quick channel recap stuff. We wanted to take like a snapshot of where we're ending the year. Critical EDH was started in, well, okay, so
February.
here's, yeah, we started in February. I started putting together, like, I was like, okay, I want to make content with Eric. And then, like, obviously we need to scoop up Jason. And then we got Austin and then Jordan and now Jax. But really, I, like, the end of last year, kind of as a New Year's resolution, I don't really like doing those things, but to myself, I was like, I want to make a channel. I want to make Magic content. I don't know what that looks like, but I want to do it. So January 1st, I spent pretty much the entire day making like socials. I made like a Discord, I made a YouTube, I made a Twitter, I made everything. And then it just sat on it and didn't do anything with it. And then Snowy Summit happened, and we'll talk about a recap of that. But Snowy Summit happened, I ended up winning the tournament, and use that as kind of a jumping off platform. And yeah, so here's our end of the year stats. 2.57 thousand members in our Discord, which is just incredible. That's so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We just crossed 7,000 subscribers like yesterday, and we're already at 7.11. So 110 subs in a day is really cool. But yeah, 7,000 in a year is insane. And then over 1,000 people following us on Twitter.
What's crazy about that first number, the Discord members, is that roughly a third to a quarter of them are playing in the league every month at this point.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
I know that people I know that people are in our Discord just to play in the league, and they like don't watch our content or don't even know that we make content.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And I'm like, what? You can go watch this video about it, but you know, it's fine. So
yeah, I don't know about you guys. I still it's weird because traditionally I'm like a numbers guy. Like that's one of the reasons I love like deck builders and roguelikes and stuff. I'm a huge like Slay the Spire fan. And I love just like crunching numbers. You know, do I have enough, block to survive this attack, or do I have enough mana to like, resolve this like ad nos line? I have a really hard time converting the number of like 7,000 people to like, because I know I've like talked to people who've like enjoyed our content, or I think it's such a privilege to go to tournaments and people that I've never met, and I may never get the chance to meet again. And all they want to do is just come and spend 15, 20 seconds saying like, hey, love your videos, thank you for doing what you do, keep it going. And it's crazy to me, my brain can't comprehend that there's like 7,000 of those people.
Yeah. Well, and it's very like surreal when someone comes up to you and someone comes up to you, someone in your game in a tournament is just like, oh yeah, I like your shit, and you're like, okay, cool. So I'm not playing traditional Sisay now.
Yeah, you're like, does that make this force of will more likely or less likely to resolve?
Are you trying to snipe me, or are we allies trying to get me points? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's definitely something. I know it's something that we've talked a lot about as a team. It's funny. One of the guys that I traveled to Fishbowl with, David, the Magda player, he always cracks the joke whenever we're in a pod together that careful guys, there's a celebrity, which I remember talking to Ya, and I referred to him as an influencer, and then like, but it's crazy to think of like 7,000 eyes watching something, right? Like that's like a lot of people consuming content, and there's responsibility that comes along with that as well. Like when you're in like a pod, like there are people who are looking to like acquire clout, or like notoriety so that they can then like wield it as a weapon of, even if it's not like direct, indirect, of like trying to like influence people towards achieving their like own goals. And so I think it's also been really, really interesting to me, getting to talk with Jax and Jordan and Austin and, Jason and Logan about the way that like being a part of this channel, I think for all of us in some form has fundamentally on like an atomic level changed the way that we interact with the format. Yeah, for better and for worse. I mean, what has that been like for you guys? Because I know, like Logan, you won Snowy Summit like before the channel was a thing, but then you've gone to then like recently you've been on a really, really insane run at locals. Do you feel like a sense of like responsibility of like now people are watching, I like can't mess up? Because I feel like that's something that I feel, or Austin, I would love to hear. I think both me and you tend to brew a little bit on the sidelines, and it's so much harder to like sneak stuff by people than it like used to be. Any brewer's advantage I woulda shoulda had dried up like 8 months ago. Like what's that been like for you guys?
What's really interesting is kind of you hit the nail on the head, right? Like what I think I pride myself as in the brewing space is taking an established archetype and trying to put a spin onto it, right? So like the Turbo TNT or Atraxa, like playing Necro and Nas, like not very many people were doing that stuff, and people just kind of know that I'm on that stuff when I sit down in a tournament, and they're like, "Oh yeah, they're on Necro and Nas," and I'm like, "Oh, so I can't utilize like the brewer's advantage, quote unquote, that I do think I should have by playing a deck that is traditionally not on these cards, and I am on them, and it's like the primary plan." It's pretty interesting. So I've had to like really focus on just being a better player in general anyways,
Mm.
and not relying on the brewer's advantage of playing like a sneaky deck or trying to sneak a card here and there, here or there. So yeah, I don't know, it's pretty interesting. It's hard to get one over on people, I guess.
I'm a very public deck brewer, so I don't really do anything in private. I just post it. I'm just assuming at some point someone's going to see it. So to me, I try not to rely on like the element of surprise. I'm either going to just
Yeah.
play something weird because I think it's good, or I'm not, and then it is what it is. But for me, being in the space and just having all these, to me, I think of it as like I have a bunch of chopsticks in my hands that are spinning plates, and I have to keep all of the plates spinning, and I don't want to drop any.
Mhm.
And that's mostly what I'm concerned about, because like, yes, I have to make sure that the channel is doing well, but I also have to be careful about what I say, even though sometimes maybe on Twitter I'm a little bit, you know,
Sometimes.
sometimes. Um,
Sometimes.
yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. Like I'm cautious about like, yeah, I'm an opinionated person, and I will say things right up to the edge of what I can say, but for the most part, like I want to develop a community and play a high level Magic. Like I want to be good. I want us to be good. I want us to be the best. I want all of those things, and I think we're progressing very quickly towards a lot of those goals. Like I think we set a lot of internal goals earlier this year, and we've surpassed every single one by far. I don't think any of us would look at where we're at now and say like, oh yeah, that's where we'll be.
Mhm.
Not a single one of us could have predicted where we're at right now.
Yeah, I think we had like a sense that we were onto something, but I think it was more for me, it almost felt like a Fringe Fest level of commitment. There's this like thing that's like fun and cool and the people like being a part of, and we will just like keep doing it on the side. And it doesn't matter if like nobody else likes it because we're doing it for us. Like we're making content that we want to watch. We all play CDH, we all are like chronically online. And so we're just out of the like this the evergreen spring of like being CDH junkies. Now we're just making content about it.
True.
And then now to be in this space where like and there's a slide that we'll get to later, but we've collaborated, I think, to date with pretty much like to a T, almost every single person that I watched on YouTube when I was learning about CDH. After like I was converting from my casual to the CDH group, and Logan was like, "Here's this hawkball deck." I like go on. I'm like, I need to watch YouTube content of hawkball so I know how to play it next time against this gruel monkey. And just you start crossing names off the list, and it's still it's very surreal to me, the amount of like friends that I've been able to make and the connections. And yeah, I think the word privileged comes up a lot to me. I think that there's just a lot of being in the right place at the right time with the right people.
Yeah,
And so
but like
yeah,
we also like really feel responsibility to the community and to the products that we're putting out, like to the league and things like that. We want to make these products good, and I think product is probably maybe a bit too of a business term for it, but like it's kind of the way I think of things to an extent. Like if I'm doing something new, or if the channel's doing something new, or we're doing something new, it has to be good. We can't half-ass it. We can't do any, like, we have a responsibility to make quality things, whether it's the episode we put out every week, or it's a gameplay that's just really tightly edited and clean, or it's let's say Jordan's latest video of Jun Dargo, and he's just like
Yeah.
breaking it down in the best way possible. And I'm like, damn, like I wish I could do a video that good. And we're all pushing each other to make better content and better tournaments and things like that.
Mhm.
I also think that like kind of what you were mentioning, Eric, like the privilege that we get to have access to some of the people that we like look up to in the format, right? Like I had a gold saber tooth map before I played CEDH, and now like I text that guy once a week. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
like that's not something that a lot of people get to do. And I know that our hobby is niche and our format is even nicher, right? Like it's still very surreal that like we do have access to these people that like if I want to call whoever up and have a conversation with them, like it is not a hard conversation or not a hard task to complete. Essentially, it's very
Yeah,
surreal.
like I remember the Logan sent me the first episode of That's a Good Card I ever listened to was the one on artist talent, and I listened to the whole thing just because I was so stoked to hear Kyle say Logan's name once at the beginning and once at the end. And I like
Dude, me
called
too.
Sarah over. I was like, Sarah, you gotta check they know who Logan is.
Yeah.
And then now, like me, like for instance, like me and Yaw talk like all the time about like cards and stuff like that. And yeah, same thing with like Gold Sabertooth that like we stayed at like an Airbnb with him in Albuquerque. And he
Mm-hmm.
brought it to like koozies for us that no one took. So now me and Sarah have like 15 gold saber.
That's where they all went. God damn it.
That's
Yeah,
so funny.
yeah. I just each time I'd walk through the living room, I'd grab a new one, and whenever I was done, I'd put it in my backpack.
Yeah, I mean, Austin, you brought up like CDH being a niche hobby, and I best heard it as being described as a luxury hobby, which is very apt and I think accurate. But
Mm.
it is niche, but I don't think it really needs to be. And I do want to make CDH accessible. I think we want more people to be involved, and for us, community growth is really important. So doing these things like the league and also tournaments and just being at tournaments and interviewing people and hanging out and spreading good vibes, and like we want people to come back regardless. Like
Mm-hmm.
we want people to play. So I think that's part of our mission, our continued mission at Critical EDH, is just to keep growing the format and keep good people around and that kind of stuff. And yeah,
Agreed.
cool. Um, we did want to say thank you to our sponsors, partners, and collabs. If we missed any, we're so sorry. It's not our intention to miss any, but we had a very busy year. And not limited to Gold Sabertooth, Dude Loot, CEDH TV, Wizards and Warlocks, Casting Cost CEDH, Lango, Hummingbird Altars, Playing with Power, Manifold Proxies, MTG Basics, Double Sleeved MTG. That's a good card. Far North MTG, the Winning In podcast with Max P, Distraction Makers, Bite Sized Magic, Level 7 Games. I already forgot one, Snowball. He's on there.
There's also Camsit altars, Mox altars, and Eerie Candle altars.
All the
Uh,
altarists and artists in there
yeah,
is so incredible.
they're all incredible. I'm slowly but surely trying to start using them to alter cards of mine that I want altered. So, to have little pieces and bits and pieces in my 5-colored soup pile that I can use.
Yep.
That's so true. Yeah, working with Snowball, he'll like send me a picture of like a kitten that he'll draw for someone, and I'll be like, "Have you ever heard of the card Aftermath Analyst?" It's a it's a casualty of the profession, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, it's such a pleasure to work with so many professionals, and I think everyone on this sponsors list. Not only did they help support the league and the channel, but also I think so many of them supported us socially, either by getting to just hang out with them at tournaments or playing games with them online. And yeah, I truly believe that no one does anything truly great by themselves. and I'm so grateful to be surrounded by the team at CriticalEDH, all the all the guys standing next to each other with jacks upside down. I'm there in the top, as well as to be able to not just with this like group of guys in Colorado who just kept bumping into each other at tournaments to start recording content with each other, but also all these people who are all across the country or even like across the globe, getting to record games with like cEDH TV or working our way through like Europe with like Pontus and all those other guys.
That was so
It's
fun.
just we just the amount of people we've been able to talk to is just it blows my mind. Yeah, it's so fun. And so yeah, it's in the same way that we want to thank all the viewers for helping make this happen. If you are a part of any of the enterprises that you see like on the screen, thank you so much for the role that you played in helping us be the channel that we are today. It's such a privilege, and just like you said, it's definitely like a luxury hobby. I think that like it's hard to get into cEDH by accident, and it's even harder to get in without spending any money. But I think what keeps bringing me back isn't that I have all this money and cards, but that I have all these moments that I've gotten to share with people. Double Sleeve, they're not just a YouTube channel that does gameplay to me. It's the people that we hung out with when we were like dog ass tired after like streaming for like 12 hours.
I remember you borrowed Maelstrom Wanderer and just cooked them on turn 2, and Seth was like, I'm playing Blue Farm. This shouldn't be happening to me. Why am I dying?
Yeah. Yeah. Or same thing with like casting cost. Like me and Oster in a group chat with like Blake and Chase, and they're just some of the most encouraging guys you could ever talk to. They've just got such good spirit, such good energy. And same thing with like Hummingbird. It's so fun to me now because I'm a big TikTok guy. Whenever I see like one of his TikToks come up of him like doing like a Soul Ring or a Mockingbird or something, it's so crazy to me to think that like, oh, this is like one of the OGs that like helps us did prizing for the league. Yeah.
Speaking of casting cost, I think I've won our bet at this point, but I don't know what I even won.
I've got to revisit the because it was because I remember I came up with the name Race to the Bottom, and the idea was that like we would all try to go to tournaments, and then whoever made I think Chase's goal was to make top 200 on Top Deck.
Yeah.
But we had to alter the rules a little bit because it's not just who played tournaments the most. Because me and you have just access to a lot more tournaments via level 7, thank you level 7.
Wait, I don't know about this. I've never heard of this. What?
It was just a bet with me, Eric, and the casting cost guys.
It was just a little side bet. Heaven forbid anyone who's in a group chat with me and 2 or 3 other people, because I'll find a way to make a bet out of it.
Well, originally it was just going to be a gameplay video of us playing our bad decks with each other.
Yeah.
And then it evolved into like a bet, like exactly what Eric said. That is what happened.
That's funny.
Yeah, well, you can't spell extra without an E in front. But yeah, I think what we discussed was the worst card in our best performing deck. Everyone else would pitch in to get Eric Klug to alter it, I think.
Cool.
I've got to go back into the history and see how we're doing.
Got to edit those messages, so that's what the prize is. Yeah,
but yeah, I love little stuff like that. Or same thing with like I was originally planning on bringing him to Dargo with Nick and Yacht to Fishbowl, and then just didn't because I didn't want to anymore. But we're still in like a group chat together, and we chat like all the time. I love stuff like that. It's the like it's the I'm extroverted in the sense that like I don't like big parties. I like going to a big party and then hanging out with the same like 2 or 3 people. So Discord for me once upon a time was like Facebook, where it had like all these different like groups and stuff. Now Discord is way closer to like WhatsApp for me.
Yeah. I wanted to say, if your name isn't on this list and you want to be a sponsor or a partner, or you want to collaborate next year, reach out. Like that's what it comes down to. We have plenty of capacity. We have plenty of ways that you can collaborate with us or sponsor us or do whatever you want, whether that's through the league or through just talking on a video or playing gameplay. We have many, many different ways we can make that happen. So we're definitely open to it. Quick little departure from my presentation here. I wanted to talk about adnos.gg. This happened this year. For those of you that don't know, this is a cEDH forum It is affiliated with us, but it's not really us. Otherwise, it'd be called CriticalEDH.gg. Adnos.gg is just a home for long format content. And right now, there's a big thing going on, cEDH feedback with Hire, because Hire is now on the Commander format panel.
Yep.
So if you want to talk to Hire directly or leave him a message or give some feedback about the format, this is the place to do it.
Yeah, specifically, I think Hire's looking at this post. I think it's once a week, and he's responding to a lot of the comments and questions. It's been pretty active. I think it's really, really cool that he's doing this and is so accessible to everyone in our format just by a forum. So
Yeah, Hire definitely always inspires me in the ways that he goes out of his way, sometimes like ostensibly so, to listen to people, hear their opinion, and get as much information as he can from as many different sources. Because talking to him in person, I'm always impressed. He's incredibly professional. He's incredibly well spoken. He's been around CDH longer than most people who have been playing it. So I think he's very within his own right to just kind of like go into like a closet, come up with his like philosophy of CDH, and then come to this like panel with like a bunch of fully formed thoughts.
yeah.
But he so consistently is like trying to find as many avenues as possible to get feedback from people. For instance, even with like Fishbowl, like they have successfully run many fish bowls, but he still always is taking in like player feedback. And I saw him in Fishbowl, this player, who just like is absolutely like crashing out, just like ranting and raving, and he's just there, with his like judge shirt on. He's like, yeah, tell me more. Like, oh, that sounds awful. Like, what do you wish would have happened, and that sort of stuff. And I guess I find it very inspiring and motivating that he has like dedicated himself to the community and is now in a position to advocate for that community in like other circles. And I think that's something that, hopefully like either AdNaz or CriticalEDH or these other avenues that we're working at developing just create more and more roads for more and more people either to get into cEDH or once they're in cEDH to then either help push the format forward or help bring to light things that we can do better or problems that we can solve or, ways that, instead of doing top 16, maybe sometimes we do, top 13 or stuff like that.
Bring to light mentioned.
I really like I'd like to shout out just like the way he's taking in feedback too. I saw a interaction on our Discord where someone like pinged him and was like, "Hey, unban this card. Like now that you're on the panel, like please do this for us." And he was just like, "All right, pitch it to me." Like give me the benefits and negatives. Like tell me what you like. Why should this card be unbanned, right? And really just like took in genuine interest on like why that person had the opinion of it. I also think that this is it's an incredible tool that we can use, and talking about Hire as a tool is not necessarily the greatest thing in the world, but like the fact that we have this like
we don't
resource,
have to call him a tool.
yeah. But like having this like invaluable resource, like we constantly
he's an extension
are
of our format that is in the Commander format panel.
Well, and we're like constantly asking for more players that can bridge the gap from casual EDH to cEDH, right? And like Hire has been on like game nights and played cEDH with them on game nights. Like he has been on Tolarian Community College. Like he has access to these people that are like actual tent poles in our grand format, not just cEDH. And like the usefulness of that and like the access to those people that he has is something that's like completely invaluable.
Yeah, the biggest thing about this, at least this format and on AdNaz, is that you can write a more thought out reply. If you want to talk about like a card that needs to be unbanned, you can go through and list all the different reasons, and it's not going to get lost in the sea of what Discord is. Discord is like turbo cEDH. It's you get the information fast and it goes away quickly, and you move on to the next game. And this is more mid-range. There's a little bit more thought put out to it, and it's a little bit more permanent. So anyone can come in here and read this, and it's very easy to sign up for an account and just post away. And then also, speaking of AdNaz and just continuing on that, we've got some longer articles. Vafnar has been posting some really cool stuff. This one's all about Krark. And if you want to read some like here's Krark, and like we've built our own Mox Sealed plugin, and like it works, and it's so cool.
It's incredible. Yeah.
Um, yeah, and we wanted to talk a little bit about AdNos, and also our latest offering is pregame, and this is just a way to connect with coaches. And if you want to be better at our format and be better at CEDH, go to pregame.gg. Or if you want to be a coach and featured on pregame.gg, you can click this Become a Coach button. It is live now. You can fill out a profile. We do kind of hand select and hand pick our coaches, at least for now. But there's some new ones on here that you might not have seen before. But we just like, as CriticalEDH, we like providing these resources to people, and we're trying to push the boundaries of what's been happening or what's possible, and we'll continue to do that through the next year.
Yeah, this is probably I grew up homeschooled in the deep south, so I'm not aware of how deep of a cut this is. But growing up on the channel TV land, I watched a lot of a TV show called The Waltons. um, but it takes place during this like Depression era community in Appalachia, and one of the people there, they worked as one of the old telephone operators. If you guys ever saw those like pictures or videos of it, where you had this person in a room with access to like all the phone lines in the county, and so someone would call and they say, "Hey, I want to talk to Logan," and I was like, "Okay." So and then I literally physically connect their telephone wire to Logan and say, "Hey, Logan, Austin wants to talk to you." I feel like CriticalEDH in many ways has kind of like served that same function for me of helping, one side of CDH talk to the other, and that conversation that happens, when an East Coast player interviews a West Coast player, or when someone who's super duper turbo pilled then like goes into a pod that's all stacks, and then they come out and talk about what that experience was. And the more perspectives and the more experiences that we have, the more people we get to connect, and the more tools we get, like adnos.gg or pregame.gg, where people can then kind of curate the type of interaction that they're trying to have, whether they just want to type up this super duper long forum post, or if they have just absolutely been crushing it on Krark, and they've kind of reached this cap of how far they can get as a Krark player without finding like the next like level or the next like echelon of like player, and they're in this like like Discord, but it's this ocean of like comments going back and forth, and like I just need like a tool to help get connected to someone who can get me what I need. And I think it's so cool to see that. I think so many of these have kind of sprung out from kind of desires that like Logan has had, or kind of like inspirations or visions he's had for projects. And so it's very, very, very fun to be on the sidelines, because I don't think I could have, if you put me in like a room with all the technology in the world and gave me like a year, I could not come up with like a single single one of these like websites or tools or any of this. And so I think specifically your technical aptitude, ability, and commitment to like quality, Logan, I think has really helped bring like the eggshell out of this stuff. And so while we're talking about people that we're very grateful to like be in community with, I think I always smile when I think back of like the first like 10 to 12 like keeping tabs episodes that we did. There were always like these like mountain of Amazon boxes, because you were like, I found a mic that's like 1% better, or I got this camera that like I know it looks the same, but technically it's better. And all these sorts of things were just the commitment to bring the best, use the word product earlier, the best possible product that we can offer people. And by extension, I see that as us trying to do the best job we can to not only get as many people involved with CDH as possible, but to help CDH be the best possible version of itself. And that I think is like that gets me out of bed, bro. That I find that very motivating.
Quick story really about playing telephone. You had mentioned like coming into our server and like trying to find somebody. Somebody was asking for like the TNK Discord in our server, and I was like, Jason's right here. Like you can like just message him. They're like, "Who's Jason?" I was like, "Look at his profile.
The
look
number
at his
one,
results."
number one guy.
And they're like, "Oh, okay, maybe I should talk to him." Yeah. But yeah, we wanted to just kind of quickly shout out AdNos and pregame, and just show that we're dedicated to providing these other things, and like I said, trying to provide high quality, just like Eric said. And I appreciate the accolades and all that, but like we're just doing it for the love of the game. We really are. We love CEDH. We love the community. We love all the people in it, and we just want to make it better.
If any of you guys are watching / listening and you have a low quality experience, you're in the Discord and someone is like just straight up yelling at you and saying all these mean things about time, or you're on adnos.gg and you're trying to like log in and for some reason like your credentials don't work.
Yeah. Let us know.
While there's a commitment to quality in the production of these tools, there's also a commitment to quality in the main maintenance of them. And so whether it be like a social problem that, you just don't know how to like navigate where you keep ending up in pods where it seems like you're trying to talk and just like no one's listening, or for some reason like you just keep getting exiled from tables and your webcam never works and you have no idea how. Please use our ticketing system. Please reach out either in the comments of the video, or we're all relatively accessible on like Discord. We do have to sleep at some point. Well, everyone except Logan, I guess. Logan is perennially accessible. But if you have like a problem, please, please, please let us know. Because I think nothing is sadder than my wife was talking to me. One of her family members was recently chatting with another person about like a skin rash that they had, and they're like, "Oh, you should go to like a doctor. I had one just like in." So they got some cream for it. And so they're talking about it afterwards. And they're like, "Wait, how long did you have that rash?" And they were like, 8 years. um, don't be the person who goes 8 years with a grievance. That could be solved with just like something topical from CVS. I don't know what the cEDH version of that is, but if you either had a really negative experience, even if it's with someone like from the team at like the tournament, please reach out to someone else on the team, or or even if you feel like you have a problem, but there isn't a way for you to share that. That in and of itself is something that we need to hear about. So thank you everyone who, we talked about the ticketing system earlier. Thank you everyone who submitted a ticket, either making suggestions for the league or commented on videos about this really loud white guy I was sitting next to Logan causing insane audio issues.
Yeah.
That's some of our golden nuggets to us. So thank you guys. And please keep them coming. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that we try to do differently than other channels is be a part of the community as much as we can, where we're listening to feedback and taking things seriously when they need to be taken seriously. Alrighty, moving on. This is going to be our recap. Let me see if I can get this scene set right here. So you guys are off camera for now, but I'll get you later. We wanted to do a quick like player recap of each of us, and hopefully it's quick. But yeah, so here's mine. Tournament decks this year, I played Glarb, Rongsai, TNK, Tivit, Kinnan, and Shorkai. And my for fun decks that are notable, at least, are Kodama Thras, Krark, and literally anything. Satya, Maelstrom Wanderer, and Tavesh Dargo. I played in 49 tournaments this year, had a pretty solid record, 35% win rate. Pretty happy about that. I felt like it could have been a bit higher, but that's what next year's for, I guess. And then 47.9% conversion rate, and I feel pretty good about that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, 35% win rate is exactly like what you're thriving for in the tournament grinder scene, right? Is like that usually gets you into conversion, and then you have a good shot at actually winning a tournament. And I mean, realistically, anything over 25% is good considering, right?
Yeah, I feel like 35% is a win rate that like gets like it definitely. I think it's like very respectable, but you're also not going to get like a Google Doc written about you.
Yeah, true.
I think it's very, very difficult to be consistently playing against like really high level players and have like a win rate higher than that. I think there's with a few exceptions, which maybe not a leader. I think it's almost impossible to have a win rate higher than that.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I think your win rate starts to go down a little bit as you start making top cut more often. So because you're playing against other players that have also made top cut, and then by design only one of you of the four in your pod can like move on. So yeah, it does lower it quite a bit if you're entering a lot of those like top cut tournaments. And there's times where like let's say you're playing in a smaller event, it's a bronze event and it's cut to top four. If you go like 2-0-1 or something and you don't make top four because a bunch of other players went like 3-0 or whatever the circumstances are, like you're not losing, but you're also just not making top cut in that case. So
yeah,
it's interesting how these stats work out, but I think I've got enough tournaments under my belt, enough games under my belt this year to say like I'm doing okay, I'm doing all right.
Well, I mean, you made the invitational, right? Like that's
Yeah.
Speaking of the invitational, I've got like a little bit of a timeline here that I wanted to go over. February 1st, Snowy Summit 2, I got first with Glarb. I won that tournament. And then February 3rd, that's when CriticalEDH started. We published our first video. That was the tournament report. March 1st, Eric and I went to Fishbowl 5 and we traveled kind of like as creators, quote unquote. But we were just
shared a bed together.
Oh, that was nice. We were walking around, filming videos, interviewing people. We had a total blast.
It was so much fun.
April 20th, we went to the Heisenberg and we traveled with the team. This is the tournament where I had no voice. So I was really...
The boogie board was out.
What's that, Austin?
The boogie board was out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. me and Logan were in the same Winninen pod, and I think Boros Wayne went to go Swords to Plowshares a Zur player in response like an ad pause, and Logan just quickly like scribbles down don't and then like
yeah, I remember that. I have a fond memory of that. But
that was fun.
In the main event I played Glarb, and then in Redemption I played Wrong Sai. I got a bunch of store credit and I got a Tropical Island. May 23rd was the Land Go Invitational. Also traveled with Eric, and we cast the Open. That was such a blast. That was so fun.
That was so much fun. We talked about it in the hotel room afterwards, but like traveling with you and getting to be on like that side of tournaments crystallized. I think that was the moment where I was like, I love playing cEDH and playing in cEDH tournaments, but that was like I'm trying to think of like a good way to describe it. I just had so much fun there that I was like this is what I want to do in like cEDH, like moving forward. Like playing it is awesome, but yeah, getting to like we were in that like tiny room right next to like another streaming team. Half the time like the pot that we would pull like wouldn't be told, so they'd already like started mulliganing in like the other room or stuff. Or that one Chipotle where the guy was just like shoving stuff on everyone's tab and then not charging them for it.
Yeah, I think to your point, Eric, what you're trying to say is that this is the tournament where you and I both realized that like we could probably never play another game again, and we'd still be happy if we could be involved with the format because we just love the format so much. And not to say that we don't want to play another game again, but there's ways for us to be involved and still be happy. And I think,
sure.
CriticalEDH is a lot of that. It's just being around the format. All right, May 31st, oh my God, I can't believe that was the weekend after. Emily and I traveled to Cradle to the Guild. This was very last minute. What'd you say, Eric?
I said it was. I forgot. We traveled so much in these like 3 months.
Yeah, we made last minute plans after we came back from Lango. Emily was like, "Hey, I kind of want to like go to Arizona." And I was like, "Okay, sure."
I remember specifically like we were playing like pickup night on Wednesday, and you guys still hadn't decided if you were going or not. and like we were like, oh, going to locals, and everyone's like, oh yeah, Logan's actually in Arizona, and we're like, what the
fuck? And even better, I made top 16 and placed 10th on Wrong Side.
Yeah, what was that one pod that you were in? It was like Evan, Freedom Waffle, and then
Dog.
Some other player.
It was me, like Bad Dog.
Coming to mind is a picture of a taiga.
Me, Bad Dog, Gold Sabertooth, and Freedom Waffle.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's who it was. Okay, it was Goldie. Yeah.
But that was my highlight of the weekend, was winning that game. Just because, like, man, that you sit 4 killers down in Swiss, like something's gonna happen, and like usually it's draw is the answer, right? But being able to win that game like just felt so good. Also, like, I think at that point people knew what Wrong Side was, but just kind of getting to flex the power of the deck and show people that were like maybe a little bit skeptical of it, be like, no, there's something here. That felt really
I
good.
think especially because it had been around for a while. Like Holden Pryo had played it as he played Roxai as his non-turbo deck. And like Tai Ohio was doing well with it. And you did really well at the Heisenberg, but that was in the redemption event. And so as far as I can tell, I think this was the first kind of like main stage event where you were the one who helped kind of like take it across the finish line into like top cut.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which I also thought was like really, really cool because I think it's one thing if someone like takes your list and you're like, wow, this is like a pretty good list. It's another thing if you're able to take that list to the top and you have to get through like, you know, three of like some of the best players that our format has to offer. Like that, I think it's a really, really meaningful way to put a deck through its paces and to be able to like do that, especially like, you know, it's not that it's not that you went to like this think tank and you know, you weren't prepping for Cradle to the Guild for 4 months, like we were just talking about.
No.
You weren't even prepping for it for 48 hours, bro.
Yeah, I was spending time like packing my bags and stuff and like doing laundry because we had to turn over from the event we just came back from. Yeah, that was fun. Uh, June 15th, Mortal Kombat 1. We hosted that event, and I mean that was so cool to host a platinum event, especially at like Dave & Buster's and have the whole team there. 122 players. That was super fun.
Remember when we went to go scope out the event? We stopped for some food afterwards, and it was like so good. We were glazing the David Buster's food so much in the group chat
Yeah.
that your wife texted us and was like, "Okay, you have to bring some home now."
There were multiple times I brought her like those hot dogs from their home because
So
like we'd
good.
go to do like a tech demo or something, and I was like, oh wait, hold on, I gotta grab something before I leave.
I literally can't believe that it was in June. You could have told me that that was in like September or October, and I
Or like
would have
last
believed you
year.
without question.
Yeah, I
That's
know. It just
insane.
this year is so packed full of stuff. Um,
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Calvin was born this year. He was born July 26th. I know everyone thinks that my son was born during the Invitational. That is not true. That is a falsehood. Uh, yeah, but
No, he did go straight from the hospital to make the 65th player in the Invitational.
yeah. Even though I was
Yeah, it's
seeded
actually like the
16th,
you
yeah,
were it's the inverse actually. You were in the middle of a tournament and you were like, guys, I have to leave.
yeah. I was actually at locals when like I left locals, and then Calvin was born like the next morning.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But
I think I made top cut that day because you dropped. So thank you, Calvin.
word. That's the real collusion that happens between team members. Yeah, a couple of weeks later, August 17th, obviously, everything went fine with him being born. Went to the Invitational, drew a bunch of games and placed 19th overall. Didn't quite make top 16, and also played wrong side. I wish I could put this on the next, like right here, but it's okay. So just remember, this is August 17th. August 18th, I decided to start winning. Um, I came home and I was like, you know what? I need to play TNK because it's the best deck in the format. And I won 6 locals and a 1K with TNK over the next 2 months. That felt pretty good. And just going on a kind of like a win streak and I guess realizing like my potential as a player. Really, really enjoyed that. October 25th, went to Fishbowl 6. Traveled again with the team. I think pretty much all of us went. Yeah, every single one of us went. God, the fact that I have to think about that is like
I know.
it's too many people to keep track of. I did okay, not great. I did play TNK, but overall it was a fun time. November 14th, I picked up Tivit for the first time, put the deck together, and I just straight up won a local. Like first time playing it, no practice. November 22nd, took it to Colorado Card Conquest, made top 4 with Tivit, and then we drew the game at time. So unfortunately didn't win the tournament, but didn't really lose either. December 5th, picked up a new deck and won a local on it. So again, no practice. I was like, you know what? I need to play Kinnan and try to learn this deck. And won that local. That was really fun. And then most recently, December 27th, picked up a new deck. I won with it. That was with Shorkai, and we talked about that earlier. That was the Fringefest too.
Fringefest as well.
So I need to start like picking up decks and like just start playing them.
Jamming them, dude.
Yeah.
Time to play Master of Keys.
No, you don't want to do that.
No, if I put a result on Master of Keys and Austin hasn't, he's gonna be real mad.
Dude, I top 13 with it. That's like as good as I thought. The
No, but like if I like win a plat or something with Master of Keys. Next up, we got Eric.
This was such a fun year. I didn't realize until we were talking about this that it's weird because I know I play a lot of Lumra. I forgot how much time I spent playing meta decks. It was really fun. I think I started and ended the year really, really strong. Because I top 4'd and top 16 on TNK back to back at a EG and then Snowy Summit. And then I continued the trend of back to back top 4ing when none of you guys were at level 7. I think I'm up to 6 top 4s on Rog Thras. All of them was when you guys were traveling at tournaments.
I mean, you're still putting up results, and like some of those tournaments are still like pretty large because they're greater than 30 players, even though like we're not there. So like you're still doing great. And when you were playing TNK, man, the thing that stands out in my memory about that is me just begging you. I was like, dude, just put a Con Sphinx in the deck, and you're like, it's not that good. And then I remember looking next, like I'm sitting next to you at Snowy Summit, and like my game's over. I'm looking at you, and you're like, anyway, so Con Sphinx draw 2, and you just won that game. Like you totally blew everyone out of Swiss. That was awesome.
That was so funny. One of the HR guys, Hunter, was mad at me for the longest time because he was seat 1 playing Rocco, and he almost won like turn 1 or 2, but he didn't have like a lightning bolt, like a Fury thing to kill his Academy Rector. So then I come out, I put Cavern of Souls on Sphinx and I cast the Con Sphinx. And then Kin and Austin, who we don't play with as much now, but he played like Kin and Godo, and I forget what his third deck, Crick. And those were the only 3 CDH decks he ever played. So he was on Kinnan at the time, and he went to go sink into Stuprit. And I don't remember why this worked, but I showed him 3 counter spells in my hand, and I was like, there's no way you're going to win this fight. Just let it resolve and we can both stop Rocco. So yeah, I definitely girl bossed my way through quite a few games on TNK. No, I think looking at this, I think what I'm most proud of is the amount of things that I experimented with this year, both with some of the weird and quirky stuff with Rydia or Lumra, kind of doing like a bunch of random green land stuff, but also I've tried really hard to always have like Rogsai or Rog Thras or Sisay or something, some meta deck sleeved up so that when I inevitably crash out on my bracket 4 deck, that I can then practice something. And I think that the way I view CDH has gone through just as many changes as the decks that I've played this year. And so I think I now have I think I'm now coming to a point where I feel like I am just now beginning to grasp who I am as like a CDH player, not only in terms of like play style, brewing style, but also just feeling like comfortable in my own shoes when I sit down at like a 4-pod, because I feel like I'm a very anxious person in general. I'm on a lot of medication. So starting tournaments, I had like a lot of like anxiety just around like there's just a lot of like new stuff. The first time I made top 4, it was with Jonah, Hain, and Sisay Josh. And it just felt like they were speaking like a different language. I don't know how to codify it more than that. It was just they were talking to each other. They were all speaking English, and they're all talking about like Magic CDH.
I recognize some of these words, but the context isn't there.
It felt like it felt like I was like in middle school or high school trying to like sit at like the cool kids table, and they're all just talking above me, and I wasn't trying to like be mean or anything, but I just don't understand what's going on. And so that a lot of those experiences generated like a lot of anxiety for me. And then once we started like doing like content stuff, I think the responsibility of representing like the channel well, and like being part of like a team and being part of like a community, it's like I care so much about like the Colorado scene and the Colorado players as well as like all the people on the Critical EDH team. Like I have such a high opinion of you guys, and I'm so proud of everyone. And I want people to see in you guys what I see. And so I think part of that is trying to like do well in like tournaments and be a good player so that so as not to reflect poorly on you guys. And so that also kind of like brought like a second or a third level of anxiety. And so I think I have just now kind of like navigated back to a point where I feel like I'm able to like play CDH without feeling like I have to like like do that kind of like thing where I'm like, what would like a normal person say in the situation? And then like I say it, I just like I feel it's easier for me to just kind of like have like walls down experiences while traveling or doing stuff with CDH. And so I feel like especially in the last like month or so, Magic has just been like so much fun. Yeah,
And you can
it's
tell
been
by
so
your
much.
like
And then
results too. Like over the past month, you've been putting up really good results as well.
Yeah, specifically, dude, you've been crushing it on Rogdrass.
yeah, I just love untapping stuff, bro.
There's two.
We were hanging out in Discord beforehand. I think I don't know, maybe it's because that's one of the more powerful things that like Lumra can do, but it just makes me so giddy, dude. When someone's like, I know this sounds stupid to say, but if someone can like, untap my land and draw me a card, I could stop this Adnos. And I'm like, Rockdrass can.
You just like look at the table, you're like, oh, you're talking to the deck that does that. Like I do.
I would like to activate the sort of temple targeting Logan's land, and it's just fun. But I think part of that is aside from just want to have fun, I also want to be the best possible CDH player that I can be, and so I so appreciate getting to be friends with you guys. In addition to Jordan, Jax and Jason and all the other people that we've talked to, even people on the channel, that's good card guides or the casting cost or the double sleeve. There's all these people and getting to, talk to Logan and pick up 1% of what helped them take, wrong side to 10th place, Cradle to the Guild or chat with Jordan and, just get a little pinch of what it is that he sees, and is like Jund Dargo, and then walk away at that and be able to be, one step further than I was before getting to chat with him. And I just, yeah, it's a long road. Definitely have, I have more draws than wins and more losses than draws. Onward and upward. It's a grind, bro, and I'm here for it.
Dude, there's too much green on this page.
It's a lot of green.
There's a lot of green.
I am a sucker for a to the battlefield tutor. At the end of the day, that's really I just love being able to like.
This man hates craft figures, Gage. He's
Oh, dude, Soulless Jailer hates to see me coming.
all right. Next we've got Jason, and he's not here today, but we'll make sure to, give him some props. Not that he needs any.
These numbers, dude.
It's insane. It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, it's a privilege and a curse to have him in our scene and our group because it is so hard to win a tournament that he's playing in it.
Yeah. I think he's the only person I've ever met that's both the unstoppable force and the immovable object. Like, pick one, bro. Yeah, I think that like if I had not like met him and see the dedication and the devotion that he has to the game of CDH, like his stats wouldn't pass the smell test. Like because like his win rate is insane. The amount of wins he has is nuts. But it's so fascinating. I would just challenge anyone who's like suspicious, talk to Jason for like 5 minutes, and he adores CDH and he has such a passion and a vigor for the game, not just abstractly, but also for the players within it and the scene. And I feel like every tournament I go to, he's always talking to people, whether it's like giving a little bit of advice here or gleaning a little bit of insight there. And it's just, yeah, I think a privilege and a curse is the perfect way to put it, Austin.
Dude, I also like you're talking about like his just knack of loving the scene, but I also think that he's just fueled by unadulterated hatred of losing a game.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen like, and obviously he doesn't lose very often, so we can talk about it. But like when he loses the game, he like does crash out, and he's like, "I'm never making that mistake again," and then just doesn't.
Then he
right?
does it. Yeah, he's got it like almost photographic recall of the game too. Like you can talk about like a random game from like 2 years ago, and motherfucker just like recreates the board state in front of you, and then describes the way that you could have won if you had played it correctly.
Yeah, he usually starts that with, "Oh yeah, that's the game where blah 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 blah." I'm like, what? Like, how do you remember that? Also, if you want a discount on your coaching from Jason, just buy him a plushie or something. Like he loves.
That's so true. That's so true.
Nothing's ever going to replace Bear though. So
Yeah,
I never thought that my mentor in this game would be barely 21, like years old.
Yeah.
He's just incredible. He's also an excellent friend. Completely brilliant. If you ever want to talk to him about the game, like he will certainly teach you something you don't know.
Yep.
So this
Every
year,
time that I talk to him, for sure. So
yeah, this year Jason played TNK, Rogthras, Kinnan, Sisay, Rogsai, and Rongsai. I think one of the things that meant the most to me about my friendship with Jason and just kind of like hanging out with him was that when I put together Rongsai and I started playing it and testing it, he actually put it together and started playing it at tournaments. And like for Jason to put a deck together, that means that it takes a lot. It means he respects the deck and also just like wants to learn why it's good. And I think we've all kind of taken lessons from that deck specifically as to like how broken it can be. And that was just like such a cool experience for me. And that's something I definitely won't forget.
he's just, yeah, I think there's also been a lot of ways where he's kind of like mentored me as well. And think I had a similar experience that like a lot of people did of like the first 3 or 4 times I beat Jason, he just like absolutely mollywopped me, just crushed me. And I walked away with this sense of like, I want to be the type of player who can like beat him. And then began this like pilgrimage of never ever doing that. And instead, I think, having like just slowly trying to like get better. And after like agonizing and grinding games and practicing and goldfishing to get 1% better, then walking away with an appreciation for how much of that Jason already has to get to the point that where he is. I think he continues to like inspire and motivate me. And yeah, it's the like I didn't think that like perennially being in someone's shadow would be like such a pleasurable experience. But like going to tournaments with Jason, where he's like, 5-0-1, and I'm like, 1-4-1, and he's like, good job on that win. And I'm like, yes.
Dude, a single compliment from Jason is worth like 10 compliments from somebody else. It is, yeah.
I think like I just need to throw out some like appreciation that like Jason hates losing, right? But he hates losing to his teammates more than anything else. And so like if you do get a win on him, you're like, that was the most fucking deserved win I've ever gotten in my life, dude. Like he refuses to lose to teammates.
We were talking about like the collusion thing that people talk about in CEDH all the time. Like I understand that like other groups and teams have colluded and will continue to collude in the past. It's just not something that's part of our culture at CriticalEDH. It like we are too competitive. And if it's like me or Jason or me and Eric, like, dude, we're not the same people in the game together as like any other time.
I think part of it is the way that like our team developed is we all started by playing against each other. And then we would just like want to play another game with each other after the tournament, like that kind of stuff. And so those relationships, I think, built this kind of like cooperation and collaboration. But also like, I absolutely want you guys to win like every single tournament that you enter over my dead body. Like,
correct. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
And I think Jason embodies that really, really well because he's very courteous, very, very professional. I don't think that he really has like a habit, or I don't think he's really especially known as like bad mouthing, or he's not like a
I
super
don't know
toxic
where he
person to
gets
play
that
against.
from. He's like
Uh,
wise beyond his years, and I just really don't know where it comes from.
Also, if you're like out there and you think about shuffle cheating against Jason, dude, he's going to catch you and you're gonna get fucking booted out of
Yeeted
the
out of this format so
yeah, dude,
fast.
he
like
can
that guy
smell
has
it.
eagle eyes, bro. He smells some bullshit at all times, dude.
Yeah.
The last thing I'm going to say about Jason and his performance here is that if you at all think that cEDH is not a skill based game, look at this
Yeah.
man's tournament record.
Yep.
Mhm.
It's the same thing that I like bring up, right? Like if it's not a skill based game and like cEDH's quote unquote like variants, like that's not necessarily true. Like Waffle and Jason and Zach and you and like there are the big top dogs, like the top 12 players that are on top deck that like it's not a coincidence that they top 16 every tournament they go to. Like
I don't think I'm the
yeah.
best, but I'm just happy to be in the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think.
it's
I'll
interesting.
hear you.
No. I'm just like every time I think I'm like, okay, I've hit my peak. I've hit my, and I look at this win rate and I'm like, God damn it, I could do better. I could aspire to be this, but I don't think it's ever going to happen. I don't know.
Yeah, the chance to be a 21-year-old Magic prodigy sailed for me 8 years ago when I was 21 and not a Magic prodigy. But I do think, for instance, watching Jason kind of grow as a coach, I think is something that has given me a really solid appreciation because
Speaking of the
I
devil,
think
Jason's
earlier
here
in this
now.
year, yo, what's up, Jason? No one say anything nice about him.
Dude, this guy
It'd
just
be
woke up
interesting.
from a 4-hour nap, dude.
Well rested. I think Jason now, instead of talking about you, also talking to you. I
Oh,
watching
he
to
can't hear
see the
you.
way. Oh, perfect. Okay, I would never want him to know that I think highly of him. I think it was really interesting. I think you can watch some of our earlier episodes, and I think there were a couple instances where like Jason would struggle like a little bit to articulate aspects of the game that he had like so internalized to be able to
Yeah.
like manifest at will when necessary. To then, like talking to him like a couple weeks ago, he was describing the texture of the Magic game that he was in and how like he was discerning what moves to make based off of like what felt correct, and then now looking back, ways that he was kind of like reverse engineering from his intuition what those like kind of like rules or observations he had made that gave him the tools necessary to make the correct decision. And then just watching how he slash you have grown as like a communicator. I think that like so much of where the Colorado scene is now, I think I very, very much attribute both to Logan and to Jason. Logan, I think because of your organizational skills, I think that like you were very pivotal in a lot of the non-level 7 cEDH tournaments that happened, which then I think kind of formed a community that then started. I think it's now for the most part moved over to level 7. So now it's just the whole scene itself has grown, but also I think a lot of the maturation of it has happened because of Jason. And us learning, how to counter, or when to like pretend to have a counter spell, or when you can't bluff countering like a Grand Abolishor. You kind of just got to do it.
Well, just like
Yeah.
having access to the white whale, right? Like the scene having such a strong white whale that we're like trying to take down as like our Moby Dick is
Mhm.
it only makes you better, right? It's like steel sharpens steel, right? And so
Yeah.
you like constantly get put in the dirt by one guy and you're like, hate this feeling and I want to just beat him so bad.
Mhm.
And eventually you get a win on him every once in a while,
Yeah.
right? And you're like, oh, that is like like trackable progress is like
Yeah.
how often can I beat him?
Yeah, like I'm not gonna take. I don't think anyone could take Jason down by going over all of his like on-stream games and being like, didn't shuffle Green Sun Zenith into his library. Only escaped like 2 cards from his graveyard to cast LED. No, the way to take Jason down is to watch over your own gameplay, catch all your own mistakes, and then come back in 5 years.
Yeah, true. And hope he
And
didn't learn new tricks.
Yeah, hope that he has somehow gotten worse since then. Yeah. So congrats, Jason. Just to read it out loud for the audio only listeners, he played 79 tournaments this year. His win rate was 48%. His record was 170 wins, 97 draws, and 86 losses. And he had a 68.83% conversion rate. There's the
Just
blueprint, guys.
just absolutely insane.
Look who decided to show up. It's Jason.
What's up, Jason?
What's up, guys?
After just glazing the boy for the last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys even said, but I'm here now.
we were just finishing up this slide, and we were talking about your like performances here and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
as the year comes to a close, Jason, do you have any closing thoughts on your year in CEDH?
Rogside's better than Kinnan, and they're all better than Tim DeGrom.
What? There's no way.
That's way, brother.
Jason has said this to me at locals. He's like, yeah, I think that TK is the third best deck in the format now.
Interesting. Maybe we'll see that next year. For fun decks, you played.
I played Yoshi Thras, Timna Halana, Italian, and then Gretchen Titch Willow. All the decks were just like fun to play this year when I started brewing them.
Yeah. Where'd you get the idea for Gretchen?
Gretchen, it was actually really funny because I used to play her as my bad Thrasius when I used to play casual Kinnan.
Oh.
And I was like, Thrasius is like $20, but Gretchen's like 40 cents. So, I'm like, okay, let's just play this. What's the worst that could happen? And then when the Fringefest got announced, I was looking through like all the color combinations I would like to play for the event, and I was like, oh, I've seen her before. And then I pulled up Nastrom's list from the Idvi, and I was like, some of these cards are kind of sus, so I'm gonna just work on this list for a little bit. And then I just brewed for like a whole month before the event. It was awesome. I like the deck a lot.
And then next we've got your glorious timeline of things that have happened to you or you've done this year.
Yep.
You want to go over some of this?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, like, I top four Snowy Summit. That was such a fun event because, like, the first time I went to Snowy Summit last year, I kind of like bombed out in Swiss. By bombing out, I mean I went 1-1-3, so it's like 8 points. And then I went to locals with Kinnan for the first time, and I won it. And then the week after, I actually won again. And then that top four of EG was with Kinnan as well. So it's like 3 weeks of Kinnan. In April, I won SCG Con. That was such a awesome event and fun convention to go to. I don't think I've ever had to go to a convention before for an event, and just like walking around, it felt really surreal because there's so many people playing Magic, and I'm like, wow, they like the thing I like too. Like, that's awesome. And then the week after, I top four'd Heisenberg. Day 2, sick as all can be.
Was that the NyQuil day?
Yeah, that was the NyQuil day. There were 2 things of medicine on the table, and
one was orange, one was green.
Okay, and I'm like, oh, green's like grass, so like maybe that's like daytime or something. So I took the NyQuil on accident, and then I was like, hey, look.
We were walking into the venue, and you're like, I took the green ones. Is that the right ones? And I was like, no, that's NyQuil. And you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, no, I was like, oh shit. And then Tim Gold Sabertooth gave me some Sudafed as like a way to like go back up. And then I was like, oh well, those should like cancel each other out, right? So like now I just need another up. So I drank a Monster too, and then I spent 3 hours in Top Cut, never feeling like okay. I was like, oh god, I might throw up at like any time while I'm like coughing. At some point, we have to pause the match. I go to the bathroom and then I come back and then I find Logan and I'm like, do you guys have any cough drops? While Logan's in the redemption event.
Yeah, like I'm in a very intense game, and he's like, "Do you guys have any cough drops?" And I was like, "Dude, no."
Yeah,
no.
I sound like I've like smoked for like 5,000 years.
I think you,
but my
me,
goat Jay came in clutch.
Yeah, I think you, me, Eric, and like a couple other people were probably the sickest we've ever been, either during or after Heisenberg.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah, for
The
sure.
Heisenberg cough lasted like a month and a half.
Yeah, I had to go to a doctor like 2 months later just to make sure everything's like all mellowed out.
I'm pretty sure my voice has permanently changed since the Heisenberg.
Probably me
The
too.
funny thing is in our Heisenberg video, like our travel video, we're like, oh yeah, our plan is to plague this event, and like we just actually did. Like,
Not intentionally, but yeah, it was a fun experience regardless.
Yep. And
yeah,
then
that was the first time that we like traveled with a large group of people.
We all drove too.
I don't know how Freedom the Evan Waffle Pierce like does it traveling so much, because like Jason, I feel like you and me basically get sick at like every tournament we go to, and then between like Logan and Austin, it's a dice roll if they get sick before or afterwards.
Here's the secret,
for
guys.
real.
When you use public bathrooms, you're not supposed to lick the bowl.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to brush?
Yeah, right. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it is bad because like you guys always catch the bad illnesses when we travel.
Yep.
Hmm.
The week after Heisenberg, EG had their like first event that was like a gold. It was like a 52 player event. I played Kinnan. That was actually the day I did the most like really insane stuff where it was like in my first round I played with Jackson, Chatterfang, Kevin, but Kevin was on Elsha and Jax was on wrong side, and literally time hit. Jax has a wheel on the stack with the Notion Thief on the stack as well, and what happens is I'm like, okay, I have one Kinnan spin here. There's probably nothing I can hit realistically because like there's no counter spells in my hand. My only flip was Nyx Bloom Ancient, and I had a Grim Monolith in play and a Thrasius in play.
Jesus Christ!
And then
some of the luck you get, dude.
And then my third round of Swiss that day was with Austin, one of our locals named Tim, and Sam, and I kept land Commandeer on my Molda 3. I top decked blue card. I top decked another blue card. Before my turn, my third turn, Sam cast a One Ring and I commandeered it and I won that game.
Yep.
Then my fourth game was like a wash. Like I won for free basically. And then in top 16, I met Eric, and Eric's like playing his Kodama Ishai deck from when he top 16 Heisenberg, and I was like, oh man, this deck's gonna be so hard to interact with. But during this game, it became such a slog. We had we had across the board 5 Ristic studies in total, like 3 Fairy Masterminds. Eric had a Trouble in Pairs, and right before my turn, everyone's like, oh, we can't let Jason untap, like watch out, he might like win the game. And I'm like, well, I like, you guys can stop whatever I'm doing. I can't just untap and go like Cavern GA, and then everyone's like, oh yeah, sure, that's fine. And then go to my turn, I play Mistrise Village, activate it to make my next spell uncounterable, cast a Veil of Summer.
I almost fell out of my chair. It is still today one of the funniest things that happened, because I forget if it was like a Toxic Deluge or like an OBM, but someone was trying to take out your Kinnan, and you were like, guys, Eric has Brand Abolisher, Voice of Victory, Silence, Orm's Chant. What am I going to do that's equivalent to that? But even then we started playing on top, and then I think it was so impressive to me. We got to the point where you were playing so many counter spells that you then started casting endurance to put all your counter spells back from your graveyard into your library. And then you literally just like look across the Kess player and you're like, I can do this all day, buddy.
Dude, the times that Jason just sits there and he's like, "You guys have already lost. You guys can just concede." Basically, it's so funny, dude.
And then that day I won in finals, and then in June, it was like the 1st of June, I think. It was a Tuesday. Blight Club.
What the fuck do you remember? It's a Tuesday.
It was Blight Club, right?
Sure. Oh, okay.
And
yeah, they have
and I was
Tuesday
like,
events.
oh, they have a Final Fortune as like their first prize as a foil, not like the 7th edition foil, but just a mystery booster too. And I was like, I told Emily before I went to this event that I would give Logan that if I won the event. And lo and behold, I won every single game at the Blight Club. And I was like, oh, sure. Logan has a
birthday present
now. And then also during this month, I top forward a gold event at level 7 on Timna Crom. That was actually the night before Mortal Kombat as well. And then the next day, I had top 16 Combat on like 3 hours of sleep. And then I top 13 EG, their 1K with Kinnan at the end of the month. And then in July, I top forward Dungeons and Javas with Kinnan. I drove down with Austin, and then Austin just left me.
No, okay. No. That is not how this happened. I got him another ride home.
You got left in the springs?
Yeah, Austin.
Austin, careful, that's child endangerment.
It is true. This is before he was a legal man, too.
Jeez.
And then in August, we went to the Top Deck Invitational. I scrubbed out at that event. Oh, well, whatever. Played Kinnan. Just didn't get the pods I would have hoped for, considering that I was playing, like, I wanted to play against Blue Farm, and I just saw, like, the one-ofs of Magda, Sisei, and all the random other decks I can't copy Ristic Study for. In September, I won the MTG Basics League for the City of Traders. I believe Hayden won the Command Tower, and then Austin won the Anime Smothering Tithe. It was really funny because when the league got announced, the day of, like the morning of, I went to level 7 and I was like, oh, there's a City of Traders in the case. I should just buy this. I have like enough store credit. But then I was like, let's see how like locals do tonight. You know, like there's no big deal. We go to locals and the league gets announced, and the prize is the City of Traders. And I'm like, oh, I don't need to waste store credit on that. I'll just win it.
Jeez.
And then we went to the Springs party. I top 4 with Timna Halana, and then top 13 with Timna Crom later that month as well. And then in October, I got first at like a silver event with Timna Crom, and that was also like my 200th win on Top Deck too. That's why I put it there. Usually I didn't put all my locals on this slide. And then I also top 16 Fishbowl on Timna Crom after having like the worst day one I've ever had. And then in November, it was the Card Conquest. I also played in a random bronze event that got me my 100th tournament victory, or just my 100th tournament. And then I top 16 the Colorado Card Conquest. It was an awesome event to go to. And then in December, it was the EG Fringefest, and I got top 13 there too with Gretchen. And then some other things like the entire year. The entire this year for 2025, I won 20 bronzes. I top forward 5 other bronzes. I won 5 local silvers, and then I top forward 9 other silvers.
Damn, dude. Leave some for the rest of us.
True. True.
We before you got here, we were commenting on your win rate and just like your tournaments and stuff. Like you have insane stats for this year. 79 tournaments in a year is just, I mean, there's 52 weeks in a year, my friend.
Yeah.
That's so cool. But yeah, moving on, we've got Austin's decks for the year. Austin, you want to talk about these?
Yeah. So at the beginning of the year, I was playing, I think, Glarb at the very beginning of the year, and I was enjoying it a lot. I was playing Doomsday Glarb because I just love the card so much. I have throughout this year had a lot of like level up moments of like, hey, maybe this deck is not as good as I think it is, and then start playing something else. Uh, and so from Glarb, I actually kept in the same color pile just because I enjoyed Sultai, and I played Tevish Thrasios, and then got cooked by Jason a few times when we were playing, just like casual at EG, and was like really enjoying Yoshi Thrasios and like what that deck can do versus Tevish Thrasios. So I enjoyed playing that. And then I swapped over to Wandering Minstrel for a while. When this deck got released or announced, I kind of saw a lot of people talking about like the lands build of Wandering Minstrel, and just completely dejected that idea and said, like this is just the best 5-color commander because it turns on all your free spells, and you can make your crop rotation a dark ritual of any color. And I think that the deck is actually still criminally underplayed by like a 5-color turbo pile, and just not relying on any lands other than the Lotus Field. I went back to TNT. I played TNT for a little bit. I realized that that deck couldn't convert Necro or Naz nearly as well as I wanted it to, so I started picking up Atraxa, and that deck can convert Necro and Naz as well as I wanted it to. I picked up Gwenim kind of as a meme, and then sat in the airport coming back from Cookout for 13 hours or something like that, and goldfished the deck 160 times and didn't not win on turn 3. And so I realized that it wasn't a meme in the current format that we were playing at that time, where people were being super, super greedy. But yeah, so I played those, and now I'm playing Sisay. It's a 5-color pile that can kind of do everything. But I've been really enjoying a lot of the decks that I've been playing. I'm like now finally playing like a meta deck, and it's feels nice to be unchained by playing Breach in the deck.
Bro, who knew playing good cards meant you would win more games?
Yeah, it's true. Who knew that playing a 1-card win con called Underworld Breach just wins games very, very often. My fun decks, Master Keys is still like my passion project. I just enjoy using the graveyard, but every time I play it, I seem to see Grafdigger's Cages in every game that I play. Other decks that I have fun with, I enjoy playing Tevish Rog. That deck is incredibly fun for me to play and no one else. And I enjoy playing Oops just because it's kind of a brain off deck that you just count to 4 and try to put a spy into play. Yeah. or Jason puts a Grafdigger's Cage into play and you can't, or a Vexing Bauble or something like that, and then the deck actually just folds. So
I feel like the amount of people who drop from tournaments is noticeably higher when you're on Rock Dev.
yeah, that deck is, like I said, it's really fun to play, but
it sucks the soul out of your opponents.
Oh yeah, dude. And people are like, all right, what's your win con? And you're like, there is none. Like there actually is not a win con in the deck. I'm trying to put Valgavoth and Sire of Insanity into play and loop your deck with Gaia Reach Sanitarium. Is that good enough? And people eventually just concede, which is very entertaining.
All right. Here's your very short timeline for 2025.
Yeah, I didn't want to like kind of repeat a lot of the things. Like we went to the same events, and I did, I consistently didn't win my win-in-ins in a lot of these events and like the large events. That includes like Fishbowl and the Snowy Summit. Like I consistently just made like the the bracket of like 30th to 80th in some of these places. But I just want to shout out some of the things. My first like top cut this year was January 11th playing Glarb. I think I just scrubbed out. I realistically just was not very good at this format at that time, and really had no reason to be top cutting, in my opinion. Looking back at my style and play patterns, really. In April, I went and played at the Heisenberg. The one I wanted to shout out is the infamous game that we played before Heisenberg the night before. That our stack that could not resolve was bigger than all 4 of our combined decks, because no matter what was the next thing on the stack, it was not allowed to resolve, because that would win them the game. And it was a game with me, Jason, Jay, and Jax, and it was a blast. And I just remember like Logan coming out at like after dinner or during dinner and being like, "Is this game still going?" And we're like, "Yeah."
It was like
and
3.5 hours.
Yeah.
And for those that are watching or just listening, that was like the peak of the mid-range slop, like meta.
Mhm.
I think, where like we hadn't yet shifted gears into turbo, and everybody
Yeah.
was just down to copy each other's Ristic study, and it was about who was playing better on the stack and stuff like that. But I mean,
Yeah.
I remember just walking into that sunroom or like walking through it, and like you guys were still there, and every time I would walk by, I'd be like, "Oh, this is happening." I was like, "Oh, cool, that means someone wins then." And like, no, there's more stuff.
I'm pretty sure all of our commanders except for Austin's got stuck in the stack, and then we didn't actually reach a natural conclusion to this game. We all just agreed that when the pizza came, we would just stop playing.
Yeah. I remember Jay had, I think, thrown 3 counter spells at Marnius, and we were like, "No, you're not allowed to have Marnius back in the zone."
We ordered different food than you guys did because you guys were playing this game. Like Tim and I got Asian food, and then you guys got pizza because you're like, we're busy right now, we can't eat.
Yeah. Also in April, I think 2 weeks after this is when I joined CriticalEDH. I joined them on the trip down to Heisenberg, and we just vibed really well. So I kind of got the call, and they were just like, "Yeah, like just come make content with us," and I was super down. I'm stoked on it. Like I have not regretted that decision at all. Joining this team has just like made me so much of a better player, and has exponentially made me like my progress just has gotten so much faster in this format. If I didn't join the team, I do not think I would be doing as well as I currently am. So
I definitely think if we had a medal for the largest amount of hours spent on the road to get to the podcast location.
Yeah, I'd be getting that very yeah, I would definitely have that. I'd be first finally in something, you know.
Yeah, I think we were talking, was it Friday we were talking about this? For the viewers, this is a little bit of like behind the scenes, especially for the last like month or so. Just like a lot of stuff has popped up for like me and Jason, whether it being like sick or holiday stuff. So like every recording day, there's this like little dance where like me and Jason will like try to come, but then end up not being able to make it. And then Austin just like swoops in like an eagle to be like, "I'm free, guys."
Yeah.
And I so have appreciated your presence on the team. Both, I mean, like, you know, one of the reasons like you're part of the team is we'd go to tournaments and we just always end up like hanging out with you just because you're you're a very encouraging person to be around. I think you're a very supportive team member. But also in a very practical sense, you're the guy who drives places to get stuff done. And I think that there's in a lot of ways that you've kind of performed the function of like glue or like adhesive of, you know, like someone over here is doing something like really, really good and someone over here is doing something really, really good. And you just like make sure that those two people are like in contact by driving all the way from North Denver to South Denver like 4 times a week.
It is a lot, but no, I enjoy it. I don't know.
Yeah,
the drive's not
off after Fishbowl. I was like, "Gee, birds, this is so far."
Yeah. And then August, I went out with the team to go play in the Open. I played TNT, and lost my winning in. I think I lost against Blakey playing Ral, and I just didn't respect the deck enough. Realistically, I sat in low seat positions basically this entire tournament, and I still am very proud of how well I played because I think I turned out to be okay. The top deck was super fun. Pittsburgh was a blast. We had some amazing food with the group there. We went out to a Brazilian steakhouse with Tim and Cal, and we had a really good time at the Top Deck Open. In October, I went to the Cookout, and this is as I was starting to do relatively well in the format from August to October. I started picking up a lot of top fours and converting a lot of tournaments actually. And then I went to the Cookout and proceeded to play the worst I've ever played to. I crashed out because I got lied to, and I have had such a bad experience at the Cookout. I had a good time with the people that was there, and had a good time just with the events that happened, but it was probably my worst showing in this whole month. Directly after the Cookout, we went to Fishbowl. So I think I landed. I think that these tournaments were 2 weeks apart. And we went to the Fishbowl, and the entirety of the team was telling me not to play this meme deck called Gwenum, and I sat there and told them no because the deck has zero brain function, or it does not. You don't need to think at all to play that deck.
I don't think that's true. I'm pretty sure I encouraged you to play it.
I think that the only person that actually encouraged me to play it was Nameless, but
oh, interesting.
I might have a different opinion. I don't know.
Colin Bennett, baby.
Yeah, Colin Bennett sent me a 6-minute long voice message on my Discord saying to make my legacy and become the Gwenum guy, which I was I was like, well, I can't say no to that. He's like, if you truly do think that this deck is a turn 3 win 100% of the time through counter spells, then you should play the deck, because no one's going to be seeing it coming. It's a brand new commander. I had done some results in the weeks leading up to it, but nothing super huge. But I sat there in the airport crashing out from Cookout, and the 100% push rate on turn 3 is insane. It's actually insane. The consistency of the deck is very, very, very good, but the deck is bad, so do not play it, because
I think that's one of my favorite things is that local people come up to you and be like, "Yo, Austin, check it out! I'm playing Gwenum," and you'll be like, "Bad idea."
Well, because all someone needs to do is mental misstep your Vamp Tutor, right? And you're just okay, I'm out of the game. I'm just out, right? I can't do anything now. Or they bounce the Gwenum before you get an attack, and you're just okay, cool, I'll see you guys in 3 turns, right?
Yeah, I think Austin, you and I had a series of on-stream content games where you're playing Gwenum, and I would just very responsibly keep some sort of interaction for you, and you'd be like, "All right, I guess I'm not doing anything in this game."
Yeah. And that's the thing is I gambled at Fishbowl saying that there's enough players here that people can't really keep responsible hands, because you need to win the game to make top 16 with 300 people, and they aren't going to keep their bounce spells, right? They're going to keep their counter spells because they think that's enough, and the deck just doesn't care about counter spells at all.
It was just so much fun because I was helping Snowball Vendor, and I could see, because it was you, Jason, Evan, and then who was the 4th person in the pod?
Notorious.
Okay. I just remember for an hour watching you elbow firmly planted on the table, leaning over in a 45-degree angle.
Dude, that was until I put everyone's death on the stack, and I was like, I've done all I can do, and I sat back and just waited for Waffle and Jason to start playing the game.
It was so much fun to watch. I was like, there's a man who's casting shit off the top of his library. I'll tell you what.
Yep. But that was an incredibly fun top 4. Yeah, I don't know. I felt like the year I progressively got better, and I have started doing relatively well in the last like few weeks too. So, I just feel like my progress has been, I can track my progress relatively well at this point. Minus the cookout, and well, that's a stain on my whole tournament record. So,
I think maybe at the time, maybe you're right. I was saying don't play it, but afterwards, I know that you were feeling a bit of imposter syndrome, and I was like,
yeah,
I do remember saying, I was like, no, like you don't need to feel that way, because I think at the time you made the correct call for you and the meta and where you thought things would be, and you're like, I am confident I can get top 16 because if I play this deck, for these reasons. I was like, that's part of playing the format is what happens before you actually get to the tournament, and like choosing the deck and all of those things, and I was like, you made the right call for yourself. Like you wanted to guarantee yourself top 16, and you did.
I think a lot of it is contributed to Kevin, like Chatterfang Kevin, because he was with me in that airport, right? And like the Chatterfang deck and Gwenum play not in the same access, but like the idea is the same. Is that on turn 3 you're going to win the game, and if people don't have it, then they don't have it, right? And Gwenum, I felt going into Fishbowl, I was like, the deck just starts with 10 points. Because like there's going to be 2 games that you just cheese on turn 2, and people just aren't ready for it, right? And like that happened. And it felt really good to have that.
And
like,
at Fishbowl, there's what, 7 rounds, and you need like 17-ish points to get in. So
Yeah.
you need to account for 7 more points, which is not that hard over 5 rounds or over 7 rounds. Excuse me. Well, however you want to think about it.
And then also like tournament endurance is like so real.
It really is. It really
being
is.
able to like mentally still be like present and dialed in for like 2 days. You see so much stuff. You're in so many different board states, so many different like gameplay decisions that need to be like adjusted and accounted for, that there's definitely something to be said for like a rock solid like 1 sentence thesis statement.
Yeah.
Make it to turn 3, win. Like it's really helpful when it's just a super duper sloggy or just long days of tournament play.
Yeah. I do think that like contributing the performance at Fishbowl of just like in games, there's very little mental energy spent to pilot the deck. Like you look at your hand and you're like, does this count to 5 on turn 2? Nope. Ship it. Right?
Get out of here.
And like even Atali has to make decisions like as after they've cast Atali. They have to like figure out how to sequence their spells. And Gwenum is just like, all right, what's the next card on top? Oh, it's a bad card that they're just not going to counterspell. And in reality, it's a card that they needed to counterspell because it's like Codex Shredder that lets you just keep going. But no one's countering that card because you have 12 tutors in the deck too. So I don't know. The deck it's very fun to play. But yeah, it was a top 16 performance. And then there's some other things that happened throughout the year, but those were the big highlights that I wanted to show.
I think all the food at each event we traveled to was immaculate.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like Heisenberg, we went to Fogo de Chao, and I was like, oh my god, bro, I had the meat sweat. I was like, oh lord. Yeah, all the food was great.
I agree 100%. The travel food has been really good. Pittsburgh, the dinners at Pittsburgh were also very fun.
Yeah.
But funny story about Heisenberg. You guys can actually see this on camera because it's in the vlog that Logan put up. Let's just say some of the meat there wasn't the only thing grass fed. So I was a little toasty that evening, and I was starting to get concerned about halfway through that I wasn't going to be able to eat everything I wanted to eat because I was getting too full. And so there's this moment where Logan's filming, the camera pans to me, and you see this look of like concern on my face as I'm looking at like 2 things on my plate in front of me, and I only have room in my stomach to eat one of them.
I'll have to watch that back.
Oh, it was so fun. Yeah, the food was so fun. Yeah.
So unfortunately, Jordan and Dax aren't here, but real quick, I'm going to go over Jordan's tournament decks and sort of his year recap. Jordan started playing the format this year, like middle of the year, like middle of summer,
Yeah,
like months ago, which is just insane to me. But his tournament decks have been TNK, Kefka, Rongsai, Dargo Timna, and Dargo Rayhan, which are like very turbo slanted decks, a lot of breach. I think every single one has breach. Yeah. Wow. And then for fun decks, he's got Toph and Rogthras.
Still can't escape the breach.
Is it? I don't know if his Rogthras is on breach right now.
Oh, maybe.
I think that he took it out. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Jordan's been a great addition to the team, and he's definitely brought a lot of, let's say, outside Magic experience to the team, where we've got some like new perspectives and stuff. He's got jiu-jitsu and a lot of other things that he engages with. That it's just cool to have that perspective.
He also doesn't mind editing videos, which is just such a godsend.
I mean, you're telling me, dude. But his timeline, like July 5th, he went to his first tournament, and then the week after, he top four'd with Kefka. This is right when Kefka came out, so like kind of new and novel at that point. And then the week after, he top four'd again with Kefka.
Either one of these tournaments is the first time that me and Jason played with Jordan, and this is the game where I think it was his first, or the top four that is on his second tournament. And he's sitting there.
No. It's his third tournament.
It's the third tournament? Okay.
I literally brain freezed Austin's top deck tutor when he said he was getting fish, and I was like,
yeah. Yeah, and Jordan just like looked at us and he's like, what the fuck just happened? Because Jason had like mulled down to like 3, and I don't even know who the fourth player was. But I'm sure Jason was just like, oh, if Austin can't win, then no one's winning. Can we draw the game?
I think Jordan himself would tell you that like part of the reasons why he did well at these two tournaments is because he like didn't know anything about the format, and he was like, oh, I know how to win, and like I know how to get to where I need to go with the deck, and that's what he did. And I think that we all kind of enter that space like very shortly after our first success of like over analyzing things to a point where like it's hard to, you know, you spend like a lot of time thinking about your actions in the game, and then all of a sudden like the win just escapes you. And he's coming back around from that at this point, but just having those like very early successes, I think almost hurt him in a way.
I think like I met Jordan at his first tournament ever with Eric in the pod, and Jordan had like a win like 5-7 ways to Sunday, and he just didn't realize it at the time. So when I won the pod, I explained to Jordan how like you can demonic tutor for an underroll breach and then like recast the demonic tutor for an LED and a brain freeze. And then he was like, oh, that's cool. And then the next 2 weeks he top fours with Kefka. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it says a lot about how Jordan carries himself, that I thought he was bullshitting to the moon and back when he was like, "Oh, this is my first time playing." It was first time playing cEDH, not even like first tournament, you know? Because I think from the various walks of life that he's had exposure to, he's very composed. He always feels very like put together. He's one of those guys I'm always jealous of because you can just tell by listening to me, I'm not one of those guys who thinks before I speak. Fuck that. You know? Jordan, you know, he mulls over his words, and you know, even before Fishbowl, I got the wonderful chance to hang out with him and his fiance and chat, and he's just very well spoken, very well put together, and so much so that when, you know, he like pretty obviously had a win on board to me and Jason, and he was like, honestly, I don't know what I'm tutoring for. I was like, there's no way that's true. You're about to win.
You're fucking with me right now. I know it. Yeah,
but it's just he's like the most competitive combined with like the most compassionate that I know. I think he kind of reminds me pretty similar. I think reminds me a lot of Yaw in that way. And so like if your local scene or if your local friend group doesn't have a Jordan, go and get one, dude. This guy, he's a rock star. It's so much fun getting to hang out with him. And it's just after every game, he is like in the trenches, like, I should have like tutored for this. And it's just I potentially comes from like his background doing like combat sports and Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but I think he also reminds me a little bit of you, Jason, in his capacity to like kind of almost rewind time to walk through the forest of the game that he was just in, to notice all the different like flora and fauna that contributed to the landscape that it ended in, and whether that was a victory or a loss. And so yeah, it's a like I think ever since I've known him, he's always kind of felt like the player to watch for me, just because it feels like he's just so much fun to be around, but it's also like so competitive. Yeah. I'm ready
I
for him
thought
to like,
Eric and I were like all in on the format until I met Jordan.
yeah,
Yeah, truly.
Bro, this guy's bling is crazy.
He's straight
Like,
mogging me.
in
Mog
just
all of us.
in just a short time, he's accumulated so much bling.
Yeah.
He's like the only guy that can make Dude feel like he needs to upgrade cards.
But yeah, overall, I mean, he's had a good run this year. I mean, it's just really short amount of time. And after that third tournament, he joined CriticalEDH. We asked him to join. Like, we couldn't ignore, just his presence, and like there's more to being a member of CriticalEDH than just like tournament performance. Really, it's like how you carry yourself, like what you are like to be around, and what are you like a positive impact on the format, and he's all of those things. He was on Keeping Tabs on October 16th, and that was his first episode. He wanted to mention that. And then shortly after, he interviewed Sylvie, when we went to Fishbowl, and I think he was playing Tim Nadargo at that time. And,
Yeah, he definitely was.
Yeah, and then Sylvie won with that deck, and that was a really good interview. He top forward in November and December, so he's coming back around, like I said. There's an X there because I didn't know what deck he was playing, but apparently he's playing Blue Farm because
No. So the November 28th was
he said Farm.
It was Farm?
Yeah, he said Farm.
Okay.
Well, I was begging him. I was like, please, for the love of God, just play Farm. Just like play it once. Just play. And like I lent it to him when I started playing like Tibbet or Kinnan, and he played a game. He's like, okay, I get it. He's like, I understand. He's like, I'm gonna devote like a month of just playing Farm, and so he was doing that, and then he was able to top 4 twice.
Oh, okay. So like I remembered he top 4 with Jundargo, and then Farm.
Okay, so maybe it was one of them was Farm. I think one was Jundargo because the one time, remember he just like stared at the wall when like you were playing Kinnan and I was playing Tibbet, and
I think that might.
Oh,
have been
and then he has another top 4.
Okay.
On Farm, right?
Well, so I don't know.
Okay.
And then most recently, he put out a Jundargo deck tech, which was really excellent. And I think if you haven't watched that, go watch it. It's a really good insight on like how to think about a deck. And for me, that deck is just, it's so fragile, but it's so freaking fast.
I remember when I was first brewing it, and Jordan was playing Tim Nadargo, and I was like, bro, adding green is kind of broken for this deck. Maybe you should look into it. And then he looked into it, and he started doing all the development and stuff for it. I just have a base list, and that's it.
Yeah.
If you watch his Jundargo deck tech and you're like, wow, I really like listening to this guy's thoughts on stuff, go check out his own YouTube channel. Turns out he has historically been a travel influencer. the first time Logan brought it up, I think me and you went and watched through like an hour or two of his videos, like independently of each other, and we were like, it's so interesting listening to him talk about stuff.
Yeah.
You guys should definitely not go watch my other YouTube channel. Yeah, no, it's interesting that like he and I connect in a lot of ways because we were both creating content before CriticalEDH. So we had a lot of like, oh, you do video editing? Yeah, I've done it too. Or like, I used to make content like this, and maybe here's some ways we can improve it for this channel and things we do here. So it's nice to connect with him on that. Our wild card for the year, Jax. This man is he's an insane human being, but we love him to death, and he's really freaking good at this game. Like It doesn't make sense to me.
For the time that he is like invested into the game versus his results, like it's so insane, right? Like he just comes and he's like, "Oh, I might be on a substance allegedly," and then just cooks people all throughout. It's like
he will,
and,
he will walk all over people in the
Yeah.
quietest way possible. Like
Yeah.
and he puts in a lot of time into the format in ways that we don't. He plays a lot on cockatrice and is able to like get reps in and test that way. And he even admits that like he's like, oh, it's a terrible way to practice because like the people are bad, but it doesn't matter because like the results speak for themselves. Like
I think what he gains from cockatrice that we don't is like he really gets to see how some of the brew that he makes like works out, right?
Yeah, like
so
the number of reps is just unmatchable.
Yeah, I know that at the time me and him were kind of brewing Yoshi Thras together and talking back and forth on it, and he's just like, dude, this deck is just insane. Like it just wins under a silence on turn 3 every game. And like was just cooking people on cockatrice, and I was like, like I wouldn't trust like that completely because it's cockatrice, right? And people are playing like super fringe stuff. But I think that like him getting the play patterns down of the deck and like how to win and how to run actual win lines through some of the brews that he has gone through, like that is why he is thriving in the game right now.
He's also like one of the only players I know who like will just like take people's lists and then just like play it like card for card without making any adjustments, or like, I'll do it for like one game, maybe two if it's Jason's list. But like I'm going in with the intention of like cutting 10 and then adding 10 or whatever. And I think Jax, something I've learned from Jax, I feel like, is to be a student of the decks and the people that play them, because I've so many times seen him. When he started playing Rockside, he was just like, Logan, tell me how to play it. Or Blue Farm, he's like, I'm just gonna play Jason's list. I'm gonna play 100 games between 9 to 5 on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'm gonna show up on Thursday and have only played Jason's Blue Farm. And I think it's so funny because he is such like a wild spirit. Like anyone who's
and then
met
he'll come back to you after those 100 games and he'll go, wow, this list is insane. By the way, this single card is Cope.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay,
it's
like
true.
And you'll see like to Eric's point, you'll see a lot of crossover with my tournament decks and Jax's, because there's so many times this year where he's like, Logan, I don't have a deck ready. Can I just borrow blank? And I'm like, sure. And then he spikes the event. He wins the event. And I'm like,
yeah.
Like he did that on Tivit. He did that on TNK. He did that on Wrong Side. And Eric's exactly right with just like, he's totally willing to trust somebody else that is like a brewer and just win with their deck. And I don't know that I could do that.
I think that his like pet project is Derevi though. Like I think that he just enjoys that deck so much, and it's just like realized that it's like not good enough for what he wants as his results, but it's always in the background. Like I still attribute Jax as a Derevi player because that's how I met him, and he played that deck for the first like 3 months of playing against him. So
yeah. Yep. And then I actually, now I think of another thing. If you look at my TNK list and my Tivit list, I have results from Jax in the primer of those lists. Because like it's either nights that I couldn't play or he just like really wanted to play the deck, and I'm like, he's playing my list like 1-to-1. Might as well just, the results speak for themselves, right? But 29 tournaments, 50% conversion rate. I mean, that's better than my conversion rate. That's really good.
Yeah.
And also to the point that you were making, Logan, Jax has something you can't teach and you can't sell. When Jax is beating me, stomping me into the ground, absolutely curb stomping me with some Grixis pile, I want him to win. I don't know what it is. He high rolled on like every version of Riz there is. He's super competitive. He's super cutthroat, and he's also just the nicest fucking guy you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
And and you can't. If we could figure out a way to bottle it and sell it, we could. We got to write that book. But it's he. I think for me is a good image of what I think professional cEDH players should look like and can look like, because he's like he he counters what needs to be countered and he casts what needs to be cast, but he has a good time doing it and you have a good time while he's doing it too. It's fun to be a part of, even if he's just absolutely knocking me out of my winning end and skyrocketing past me to top 4. You root for him, and he's a very root forable guy. And I think, part of the reason he only has 29 tournaments is because he's always, flying off somewhere doing something exciting. And yeah, I think very, very similar to Jordan. He's one of those players. I just got my eye on. I just can't wait to see what he does in this next year.
My favorite Jax,
he's a really cool guy.
My favorite Jax story, and this is a very short one, and I'm sure that Jason will fill in details, is that Jax was playing wrong side at some EG event, and it might have been like a 1K with like 50 people or something. And I recall that he looked at a second 7 and he's like, oh, this is a turn 2 heuristic study. And then shipped it back because it wasn't fast enough. He went down to 6 and he got a turn 1 heuristic study. And he goes, this seems pretty good.
Well, that was the EG event after Heisenberg.
Yeah.
He top 4'd and I eventually beat him. But in his top 16 game, he had turn 2 or turn 1 heuristic study. And then during that
Which was a different game than the one I was just explaining.
No, that's the same game.
No. He did that in Swiss, too.
Oh, okay. But he got a turn 1 heuristic study in top 16. Then he got another heuristic study. And then he aura thiefed Connor's Tithe and heuristic and then played a Sphinx.
Jeez. I played so many games on wrong side, and I don't think that anything I've done has amounted to that. That's just so cool. But yeah, we're happy to have Jax on the team, and yeah, he definitely adds an interesting dynamic that we don't have otherwise.
I will say this as well. Like Jax, if he played more tournaments, he would be a top 100 player. Like, and that's not a joke.
For a good portion of the year, he was a top 100 player.
Yeah,
right now
which is just crazy.
Yeah, he's hanging out in the top 200 right now. Alrighty, moving on. 2025's biggest loser. Jason,
I don't think there's another choice coming close.
Bro, I remember when everyone was freaking about this card, like Comedian was, and a bunch of other influencers were, and they're like, "Oh my God, Hashaton is the new format staple." And then we come around to the end of the year, and it's got these numbers.
We were naysayers from the start. We did not like this card at all. And I think we gained a large portion of the community's trust because we didn't like this card, and then this card did not perform.
I just feel like everyone overrated the ability to have Hashaton in play with 3 mana.
Yeah, and Esper, I don't know. I think this card still has potential that like people are just not exploring. But I do largely think that the card was just like insanely overrated. But if like Esper gets mana generation, like they kind of consistently have been getting lately, then like I could see someone revisit this in a few years and just be like, oh yeah, the card's kind of still good, right? Because realistically, like I think people just like leaned into the Hashaton thing too much instead of playing just Esper good stuff that could make a 4/4 Esper Sentinel if you discard your cards to Heuristic Study.
What's sad is that even a Jeweled Lotus doesn't make this deck better.
No. No.
And also, like, the casting cost is terrible because you don't want white on turn 1 or 2. Like, you don't really need that. You want, like, if Hashaton was like Dimir casting cost, it might be slightly better, and you could sacrifice it to Flare of Denial.
Yeah.
But like there's really no reason for this, and like Mox Amber is really, really bad.
It's like Lotho's Mox Amber, but would you rather cast Lotho on turn 2 or Hashaton?
Or even turn 1. Like, yeah, like I would kill for a Lotho turn 1, but Hashaton, like, no.
The other thing that like I wanted to say about Hashaton is like I've seen the deck do its thing where it like put in a token that was like whatever, a Con Sphinx or something like that, and didn't lose. And you're like, okay, Like
Wait,
there's
didn't win?
a problem here.
You mean? Like
What?
it like you said didn't lose. Do you mean like it didn't
Or
win?
sorry, didn't win. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It like just didn't convert that game into like winning, and you're like, oh, like that's not
That's not
great. Yeah.
Yeah, also if
Blue
it's
Farm can play Consphinx.
true. Also, like if you see Hashaton resolve an LED, you're like, okay, I need to like cast an LED. You like, okay, well I can't let it resolve whether it's the Hashaton or the LED, and then like it's just so telegraphed. It feels like,
Or you
Yeah.
just don't let the Tainted Pact or whatever resolve.
yeah,
Yeah, like Rockslide isn't gonna get OBM'd because it casts LED. And that deck is like scary as hell.
Yeah. I do think that like if people just like made it Esper good stuff pile, there's something there just because like Esper as a wedge is good enough to carry you.
Wait. Hold up. Austin, you could build this deck. It's just Esper good stuff with some graveyard.
Yeah,
he can
yeah.
run LED and Brain Freeze like he always does outside of Breach decks.
You could put it in uncounterable master keys into play.
Oh no!
Well, doesn't it get countered all the time? Don't you always go to cast it for the command zone and people are like, we've got to counter this?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I do think that later down the line this deck might have a new life, but right now
Alternatively, they're going to print more powerful cards that are just going to leave this thing in the dust even more.
That's
so
also true, right?
Yeah, it's just rough because I feel like this like deck kind of shines in like the Reanimator territory, but CH is in the weird place of like Reanimator is so strong in other formats. It's the same reason they're not printing like new powerful dredge stuff, because that like if they did, they would just absolutely like body every format that like Wizards actually has price support for.
The problem is that like cEDH is a singleton format, and there's just not enough cards to make either of those archetypes that good. Like you need 4 reanimates, you need 4 animate deads or entombs or whatever to make those things work, or 4 copies of your dredge cards and stuff like that. And
yeah.
Yeah.
Just Reanimate, I think also needs like, cause what was it? It was like Troll of Khazad-dûm that was like the big baddie in Reanimator for a while, because you could like swamp cycle it and bring it back. And in like a 1v1 format, having like a 7/5 or whatever it's statted at turn 2 is like incredible. Whereas like in cEDH, having like a 7/5, even if it's on like turn 0, is like okay. It's not like
sure
bad, but it's not worth building your deck around. As opposed to like in other formats where I think being able to like you can rely on things stats lines to help like carry some of the weight of like the archetype. Whereas I think that that's more of like a tertiary prospect as opposed to secondary. So for instance, like Wandering Minstrel, not Wandering Minstrel, the teamer you cast it, Cascade.
Maelstrom Wanderer?
Maelstrom Wanderer. Sorry, I guess I get the word Wanderer and I place it in front instead of second. I think that's a great example of like that deck swings out and does like a lot of damage, but it's an accidental property of the deck. And so if you were to lean more into the combat damage side, it may not be as successful, as opposed to, I think one of the great strengths that Reanimator brings is that you can get a board out of nowhere and you can swing in these really, really hard to stop
It's
ways.
like the primary aspect of it versus like
that's not necessarily true, right? Like a lot of Legacy and less so Vintage, like the reason why Reanimator works in those formats is because Atraxa draws a quarter of your deck, right?
And but you can't run Atraxa in Hashaton, right? Like so, it's a consequence of color identity and they run 4 of Atraxa, I think, right?
Exactly. Well, they run, I think it's like 2 Atraxas, and like they have a few other like tech pieces.
Yeah.
But the real thing is that you can like land an Atraxa, and those 10 cards can just like convert to win the game, right? And in cEDH,
it's because of the redundancy of having more entombs, more reanimates, and stuff like that. So like when you reanimate the Atraxa, you can find another Atraxa. That's kind of why from the same set as Hashaton, Stock Up is really good in 60 card as well, because
you can just find another Stock Up.
Yeah, you just find more Stock Ups, find more redundant pieces.
Yep.
Yeah,
right now, like with like right now in cEDH, like we don't have a creature that like lands and just immediately wins you the game with like whether it be the card advantage or something along those lines. Like obviously the redundancy of bringing Grizzlebrand back into the format, like it still isn't there as like a primary win condition to be like, I am playing a Reanimator deck. But I think that it
there
would
has to
help
be like an
so
angle between like win the game and then like do nothing with reanimator targets. So
yeah, I mean, and like there is options, right? Like there's Jin Gataxius, which like kind of gets you there, but like it takes a turn cycle of people not interacting with it. Like there is options of like these super impactful creatures, but not something that just says I win the game, right? And Grizzlebrand is that card that I think that our format needs for Reanimator to work.
interesting. Well,
Yeah,
Hashaton.
I think
Go ahead.
I was just gonna agree with you. I now I think it's been brought up a couple times. The point that you made, Logan, is the difference of being in a non-singleton format as well. You know, being able to run 4 copies of the best possible version of Reanimate, as well as multiple copies of the best possible target, has like a relatively strong compounding effect.
Yeah. I will say
they also have fewer cards than we do. Like we have 100 cards. They don't.
Yeah, I will say, like, to combat my own point, like that is what the Lotho deck is trying to do, right? And that is what Crick is trying to do at this point, is like reanimate Hoarding Broodlord and try to win the game before there's interaction. But the problem is the Hoarding Broodlord line is one of the most interactable win lines there is in this game, and like it's just not good enough at this point.
It's funny because it's relying on creatures and relying on you casting spells.
Yeah. It's like literally, do you have any interaction? All right, cool, I fold.
I knew it was
also
bad.
One of the strongest things that Hoarding Broodlord offers in non-singleton formats is the ability to perform like tutor chains, kind of like Neoform Storm type stuff.
Yep.
But I think tutor chain, the premise, the philosophical space that tutor chains takes up, I think fundamentally has changed when you always have the same card in the command zone. And so then you are now, instead of like tutor chaining, the potential of just having like an A+B combo where you're just demonic tutoring for whatever like goes well with like your commander, or you're just playing like this just massive card draw engine in the zone. So you just shove Thassa's Oracle Decon and 98 counter spells. You know, like makes I feel like cEDH has this weird kind of combination of control and tempo kind of like take up the same space, which I think makes it harder for like a Hoarding Broodlord tutor chain deck to take place, because now it's also fighting against like Inala, Sisay, at the same time that it's fighting against like these birthing pod decks at the same time, because you're in a 1v1v1v1 format, and I think it just makes it a lot harder for that kind of stuff to resolve.
I also knew that Hoarding Broodlord was bad when I was tapped out and I just snapped back the Broodlord with the saw in half on the stack.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, dude, I don't know how many times when I first started playing the format and I was playing Master Keys, and actually maybe I was playing, I think I was playing Master Keys, and like I started doing like the Broodlord line, and every single time Tyler would just like somehow get a Spellskite out, and I was like, cool, I just fold, I just lose the game. Oh, you get 2 Spellskites now. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. The strongest thing your deck can do is Stella Lee's backup plan, theoretically.
Yeah, it's true.
The other things about Hashaton that are not related to the card directly was that it's from a terrible set.
Terrible.
Aether Draft is terrible. And then also like the set symbol is horrendous. So like,
what do you mean you don't like the start your engines thing, bro?
I don't want another game mechanic to keep track of.
This set might go down as one of the worst sets of all time. Like in no aspect were people enjoying the set. Like it didn't do well in draft. It didn't do like there's only stock up is played in standard.
I enjoyed the secret lair from the set, which looked like Hot Wheels, because I love Hot Wheels.
That is true. The secret layer was pretty cool.
That was it.
Hold on, wait. No, there's another. The piss foils from this set were good though.
They were something. I don't know about good.
I enjoy a nice piss basic.
Oh, I guess the Chromox came out from the special guest slot from Aether Drift.
Yeah.
That's the only upside.
You know, like the guy that's like going like this and he's like begging for water, and he's just like, you know, the tap is like not turned on and it's just like dripping. That's like the one of the droplets of water is like the Chromox. Like that's all we got from this set. You know.
One thing I will say in defense of this set is it is really fun to draft.
I heard only bad things about it, but I didn't play it, so
it could have just been that I got like lucky the 2 or 3 times that I did it. But I think that drafting is potentially the only environment where max speed is relevant. But it was a fun little mini game.
Interesting. Alrighty. This is a collection of our favorite new cards and our favorite old cards that we've played this year. I made everyone choose one. So I'm sure there's other cards we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about one from each, I guess. One new card, one old card. So for mine, my new card was Tataru. And if I'm playing white, I'm playing this card. Like, this card is insane, and anyone that says otherwise is just wrong. Even this past weekend when I played Shorkai, I untapped with like 6 mana from 1 Tataru and just straight up won the game in like I think it was one of my Swiss games, and I just like, I was like, oh, this is a broken amount of mana, and like, yeah, it's almost a smothering tithe amount of mana for half the cost.
yeah. It is specifically good in certain metas, right? Like if you start seeing draw engines get played, then you know Tataru is just like this exponentially good 2-drop. I understand like why people have their qualms about it, because there are games where you're like you don't feel good casting it, but like you know when you can cast a spell and you know when you can't cast a spell, right? Like,
yeah, but it turns on Mox Amber, and like Lotho's the same thing. There's sometimes late game Lotho's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, but I agree with you on Tataru. I think like at this point, if I'm playing white, I'm never cutting this card.
Yeah, this was another huge L take for me. I think it was in a Keeping Tabs video, because people were talking about it on Reddit, and I was like, man, dude, I feel like the 2CMC legendary space has a lot of really cool stuff. And sometimes making a tapped treasure can't be that good, right? Very wrong. Very incorrect. Fun fact, 2 weeks ago, I was so far behind in a game that I snapbacked Raul's own Tataru so he could play it again to give me another card.
This weekend I blinked the Tataru once with a Displacer Kitten to draw an extra card to continue my Displacer Kitten line, because I ran out of things to cast, and I was like, okay, this card's all right. Like, it's not that bad.
I think it's been excellent in all of the decks that I can play it in, because like usually I'll play like mid range, or even in like turbo. It's been excellent because you get like turn 1, turn 2 to Taro, and then you untap with that treasure and then whatever else everyone else drew during the turn cycle, which
usually it's like
feels
3.
really good.
It's like 2 to 4 treasures per cycle.
Yeah, I remember the dual land tournament for the Underground Sea that you top 4'd at, and Jordan straight up made like McAllister straight up made like 12 treasures before their turn like 3 or 4, and just breach one with Ranger Captain.
Oh yeah, yeah.
This also has the Wishclaw Talisman Git Probe effect, where you're just landing like a turn 1, turn 2 value engine, and then at least one player, usually 2, is going to like say, okay, here's 5 cards in my hand. Please give it to me.
Yeah. It just has felt good and has straight overperformed for me. I know that like casting cost cEDH guys were talking about it. I think it was, I don't want to misattribute who doesn't like this card from that show, but one of the guys like really doesn't like it, and I'm just like, I don't think so. Like, I think the card's really good.
It's got to be Blake, right? Like, there's no way that Chase doesn't like this card in Sisse.
Maybe that's true, yeah.
Like, there's no way this card.
Bro, this is a Sisse legend, bro.
Yeah, this card's it's uncuttable on the deck. Like,
and the fact that like the chances are you can play it on turn 1 or 2, it feels good. And then my favorite old card I played this year is Counterbalance. I just adore this card so much, and I don't even need to play the Sensei Stop with it anymore. I'm stuffing counterbalance into every control deck that I play, whether it's Kinnan, Tivit, or Shorkai, or Wan Shitong if I ever play that deck again. But the counterbalance for me, I've just cooked so many people on like an early counterbalance and won so many games because of it. For me, it's just it's my card.
It's the
if you wanna-
ultimate griefer card, bro.
Yeah.
if you want to see the power of counterbalance, like go look up our stream of Fringefest, the top 13 game with me and Logan in it. That counterbalance countered 15 spells, maybe.
It wasn't my counterbalance.
No,
My counterbalance got counterbalance.
Yes, I casted a spell into it, like not remembering, but like, I mean, like legitimately, the card is really, really good. I will also hold to this statement that I've never felt more powerful than playing Glarb with counterbalance. Specifically, if you get Necropotence as well, that you can't lose that game.
It's highly unlikely that you lose the game. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's possible, but yes.
The ability to have something that counters spells through an opponent's like Grand Abolisher, it doesn't come up that often, but it does come up. And if they're unable to complete their line because there's a counterbalance, and they're like, okay, pass, like that feels incredible. And also, like you said earlier, the information overload, where you have another, like as an opponent, you have another thing you have to keep track of. And if they have like a heuristic study or a draw engine or anything to cycle that top card, then you don't know that information, and you're having to like process your line and say like, well, if I cast this ritual first, it gets counterbalanced. Like, am I going to have enough mana to complete the rest of my line?
Well, and then if they
that.
have like a heuristic study, and then like they finally hit something that you're like, okay, that needs to stay on top at all costs, and you're like, okay, now I have to readjust my mana to be able to get there, keeping this on the top. Like it's just a really cool thing. Me and Logan have played a game. I don't even know if you remember this game, but do you remember when Jordan played a turn 2 Consphinx and I was playing Glarb, and I don't know what you were playing, but I had a counterbalance, and like we were casting spells into my counterbalance heuristic study, and like we got out of someone having a Consphinx for like 6 turns.
My fondest memory this year with counterbalance was at actually the Heisenberg, and I was playing Glarb even though I didn't top 16 or top cut with the deck at that point. But I had a very, very interactive round where I had a counterbalance, and not consecutively, but I successfully counterbalanced 17 spells over the course of that game.
Jesus Christ.
And the other players are like, we've shuffled his deck, we've done everything, we've like, and I'm there without a voice going like pointing at the deck going counterbalance like on the spell, and that felt incredible. And I think that's a feeling that like, I understand if counterbalance is not the most optimal card in all situations, but like even in the turbo deck sometimes I'm like, man, if I had a counterbalance, like my win would be so much more defended here. Just things like that. I love the card. Eric, you want to talk about yours?
Oh yeah, I adore Ice Till. Sarah's lucky I met her before I met Ice Till. Like that card is insane. I love Ice Till so much. I think it just kind of does everything I want to do in a card. First off, it's green, which means it's never going to get countered because it's in the worst color in CEDH. I think being able to play lands from graveyards in a format where we're like super duper horny for fetches is also crazy nice, because I mean, I'm sure you experienced this from playing Glarb, Logan. Making land drops every turn makes you like unbeatable.
It's really good.
It's true.
Or making
being
multiple.
Able to transition your mana base into like accelerating your mana base on a permanent basis in an uncounterable fashion that doesn't trigger like heuristic studies or Esper Sentinels is also super duper nice. And at the same time that it's accelerating you, it's also usually filling up your graveyard either for Shifting Woodlands or Breach or both game plan. So this has very quickly become one of my like favorite things to like tutor for on like turn 2, turn 3, and has really contributed to the resiliency of a lot of the decks that I play, including I'm playing it in Rock Thrash right now and I absolutely love it. because there was a game where I was underneath a Veil of Summer, and the only interaction that was able to stop me, because I had an uncounterable Aboro Breeze Collar on the stack, um, was my Guy's Cradle got Beseju'd. So I just Court of Calling for 4 and then brought it right back. And they conceded on the spot. I still have yet to actually, I think, like close out a game on Rog Thras. That it's very similar to me and Logan used to talk about this all the time. How usually you can just make infinite mana and then people will concede. And having Thrasios in the command zone makes it that much easier. But yeah, I still just does everything I love. I think I tend to find I would put it I feel like in terms of card advantage that it gives me, I would put it in a pretty similar category as Sylvan Library. Um, where in terms of like the value that I derive from it and the potential to land it at the correct time and then transition that into like a winning board state, it is pretty equal to me. Even though I'm trying to resolve them at different points of the game and the advantage they're giving me is very different, I tend to experience an equivalent amount of momentum. And then my favorite old card was Rograk. I think that CDH is one of those I think very similar to like most formats in Magic. You just have to put in a certain amount of reps to understand various dynamics in terms of strength and weakness. You know, for instance, like Rhystic Study is a really strong card, but I think it can be difficult to understand just how strong Rhystic Study is until you've been in like multiple top fours where you had like absolutely like busted hands that got, you know, pile drived into the ground by a player just resolving Rhystic Study. I think Rograk is very similar of having played like a ton of different decks with a bunch of different like archetypes, beginning to experience the fact that like having a zero cost commander is always relevant. And the amount of like keepable hands and strategies that it opens up, either allowing you to be really risky on turn 1 or 2, or play it like really safe, and then just like turbo out of like this like insane like board state, means you can do super creature heavy strategies like Rog Thras is doing. You can do, you know, creature agnostic strategies like Rog Sai is doing. It's just I have learned to appreciate you know, CDH's most sacrificable creature in a new way in the year of our Lord 2025.
One thing I wanted to mention about Ice Till, I think I saw this on Twitter today or yesterday, that someone was like talking up Ice Till, and they're like, people don't realize that it's just dropping a Soul Ring into play every turn. And I was like, oh, wait, that's actually just true. Like, that's a crazy card to put on a creature. Like, yeah, I've never really thought about it like that, but it is true. Like, it does just put a Soul Ring into play on every turn. Like, that's wild.
Honestly, for
your
me,
mana is fixed for the rest of the game. It's so
honestly,
nice.
for me, Ice Till Explorer is like the scariest card I'll see in Lumra.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because you're like, oh, I've hosed them out of the game, and they're like, no, I still just unburies them. Like that card is really good in Lumra.
Plus, I'm increasingly enjoying cards that introduce the axis of movement into the game. Whether it allows me to move things from my library to my hand, or from my graveyard to the battlefield, or from the library to the graveyard, or the ability to move the location of where cards are. And the fact that I still simultaneously moving cards from my graveyard to the battlefield and moving them from my library to the graveyard, I just found incredibly synergistic with Breach, and has given me, I think, the confidence I need to more aggressively pursue like either Breach game plans, or even just like riskier lines, with the assumption that I will be able to like circle back with the Shifting Woodlands later in the game.
Dude, I just had the best idea. I have what's this spell called? Oh yeah, Necropotence. That card moves a lot of cards from different zones.
Necropotence rules.
All right, Austin, what are your 2 cards?
My original choice was Nature's Rhythm for favorite new card. I do think that you know, shout out Cabbage Merchant. I do think that card's still very good, but I haven't had enough games with it to like actually say it's just insane incredible. But I think Nature's Rhythm has just enabled a lot of strategies. It's really good in so many decks. I also think that people are not playing it as much, or like they should be adding Entomb into their deck as enablers for this card. I think that there's just so much you can do with it. And to the battlefield tutors are just really, really good. Especially one that reads basically uncounterable because you have to counter it twice. But yeah, I'm just a big fan of the card right now.
It's cool because it enables like larger commanders as well, like Lumra and Kodama and even Maelstrom Wanderer if you want to play it in that. But like the larger commanders help you harmonize it, and you can get like actual true win cons out of your deck.
I think the Spellseeker stocks went insanely up when this card came out because you can turn basically one of your creature tutors like Finale, Eldritch Evolution into Spellseeker, and then you get 2 tutors out of this. So given enough mana, you like automatically win the game if you have any creature tutor.
Yep. My favorite old card, realistically, it's Necropotence. I think that card is just the best card in our format, and I don't think there's anything close. But something that I was not playing earlier in the year and have now picked up, and I think it is one of the best pieces of interaction in our format, is Arms Chant. We saw the increase of like Cavern GA wins, and this card just gives you a fighting chance against it. It's also really good against Ral, because Ral doesn't want, like, it doesn't care if you counterspell a lot of their spells.
And Atali.
It's so good against Atali. It just nopes so many bad matchups. It's really good against Rowan. It's like I just really like this card. It just gives you a fighting chance so much. And if you're like pushing and someone has a fish, like all you have to do is resolve 1 Arms Chant right before they've drawn all their
and pray decks. It doesn't get misdirected.
Yeah, and pray it doesn't get misdirected. That's true.
It's never happened to me, promise.
I'm just incredibly impressed by this card. I think that minus Flusterstorm, I think it's the best 1 mana piece of interaction we have. I would cut Swansong over this.
I think silences are really busted in the fact that like, and I talked to Jay about this a lot, is that you can use it defensively and offensively.
Yep. Yeah, and like Arms Chant is just the least offensive silence, right? Like it, and when I mean offensive, as in not like people will defend it for you because you're Arms Chanting someone that is actively trying to win the game. And you know, there's a lot of lines that people think that they're untouchable, and this card gives you an out to a lot of those lines. So many people will like crack a Ranger Captain, and you're just like Arms Chant, and they're like, oh fuck. And I really like cards like that can also defend your win.
To give the viewers context as well, like we're not saying run this over silence. It's always in addition to silence, right? Because silence does the same thing, but it's that extra tool for the same amount of mana that, like, if you're on a Ristic Study and you don't have a tutor, it's just one more chance that you draw that same sort of effect that does the same thing. But it has its downsides, but it has like almost more like political upsides than a silence does.
It's a really, really good card against Timna Dargo. Like it's one of the best answers that you have against that deck.
It's also a fog.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I was actually that happened at Fringefest where someone was like, "Oh, I could have dual caster comboed you," and I was like, "Oh, I actually had Arms Chant that I could have kicked, and so your dual caster combo doesn't do anything."
Why is it a fog? That's so dumb.
It's so cool. Yeah.
I think about this card in a very similar, like in the same breath as like Snapback, where it is one step beyond where I think most players' threat assessment radars are like calibrated.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, if a player is like, okay, we've seen Force of Will, Remember Trap, Force of Negation, you know,
and they're tapped out. What stops my Broodlord combo? Oh shit, a Snapback. You're exactly right.
And so I think people are far more likely to walk straight into like a revealed Orms chant even than they are to potentially like other silence or other pieces of like interaction, which is part of what I think makes it like so powerful, is that oftentimes the window for an Orms chant is opened much wider than it might be even for like a silence, because people just aren't ready for it. And so they will push beyond potentially what they should, because they're like, oh, I already like mental misstep their silence, so nothing can really stop me now. Boom, Orms chant. Like, yeah, I see that happen all the time.
Yeah, I've just been very, very impressed.
If you have to like distill down CEDH and look at like what type of cards you would describe to a non-CEDH player as like being powerful, I think it's not only free spells but powerful 1-mana spells.
Yeah.
And Orm's Chant is one of those cards. And let's not even talk about like interactions with like Ska, like Stormkill Artist, and just being able to like silence Ska, make a treasure. Okay, my silence got countered. Oh, here's Orm's Chant. Make another treasure. Like just stuff like that. I mean, having 1 mana represent something in this format is incredibly important, and Orm's Chant's another way for that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Jordan's favorite cards. His favorite new card is Badger Mole Cub.
This card is ridiculous, especially if you clone it. You get an army of lands that tap for like 1 billion mana each.
Mm-hmm.
And your lands can't like actually be destroyed.
Yeah,
not for really like they come back tapped, but they're still there.
I love playing Snapback because that actually puts their land into their hand. So with like a Cloud of Fairy CTB on the stack, I'll put Eric's Cradle in his hand.
Snapback doesn't say non-land.
Nope.
It just says creature, right?
It just says creature.
Yeah. I think Badger Mole Cub, it has. I think we're only scratching the surface of what this card can do. It reads broken. It is broken. It has enabled even more weird Cradle strategy lines that don't need Cradle at this point.
They don't.
Like the card is really good.
There's like a new combo with like Mockingbird, right? Like where you can.
Yeah, so if you have like a wild growth, you can like make. I don't know how it works, but if you have like a wild growth on a land, and you Badger Mole Cub that land, then you can like Mockingbird it. I don't know how it works.
No. So what you're referring to is like if you Badger Mole a land, you can Spring Heart that land and then play another land to trigger it. And then if you have, let's say, like a bunch of actually no, that's not how that
is
works.
It like the Lotus Cobra and stuff, like you're able to go
pretty similar. It's if you've ever like put Spring Heart into go on like a Dried Arbor, it's like functionally similar, with the exception of being like 10 times better. Because with Lotus Cobra you're making temporary mana, and with Dried Arbor you're making mana for later, whereas with Badger Mole you're making a lot of mana right now. But that's also usable later off of like a dramatic reversal, or if they're like Mockingbirds and you have like a Valley Flood color out, then you can start casting stuff.
And we talked about 1 mana powerful targets or powerful cards in CEDH. This is just a 2 mana card, right? So it's another 2 mana tutor option for decks like Rogthrust, where they don't necessarily need the Aboro to immediately win. If they don't have the right resources, they can get this piece and then continue to accelerate their plan from there.
This also allows Rogthrust to not necessarily need Talon Gates, because when you animate the land, you can play a clone as the Earthbended land, and then you can just keep returning it and keep playing it over and over. So then that's like the Talon Gate land you put in your hand over and over and recast.
I cannot wait to see someone playing TNT or Tevish Thrasios and hitting a life death with this deck or with this card in play. As just a mega ritual, and you're just like, oh, we are so good.
Or like a squandered resources, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be fun. Need for Speed. Let's go. No, I think Badger Mole definitely is in the category of like infinite mana ends games but a lot of mana wins games. And so like, sure, like Kingdom Assault, then you like find an outlet, but like every blue farm player has had the experience of untapping with a Smothering Tide that generated like 15 treasures. And 15 mana and like blue farm is functionally like infinite mana in terms of being able to get you from wherever you are to the finish line. And I think Badger Mole really helps you transition from like having 4 mana to like 8 or 12. And that's the difference between, Finale of Devastation for like a Delighted Halfling and Finale of Devastation for like a Displacer Kitten.
Speaking of lots of mana, Jordan's favorite old card is Burnt Offering.
Let's go.
You know he's played enough Dargo this year when Burnt Offering is his favorite old card.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just a better sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because you make black or red.
You go like Dargo, Burnt Offering, peer into the abyss, and I'm just like, wow. Wow.
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot to say about that card. Jason, you want to talk about your new and old?
Yeah, so my favorite new card is Voice of Victory, and I actually have like a little story for it. Tarkir Dragonstorm came out literally the weekend before SCG Con. So my first tournament I ever played Voice of Victory in was SCG Con Denver, and I won that event. And it was like, oh my god, bro, this card is insane, because I won almost every game with Cavern plus Human that event, with either Ranger Captain, Voice of Victory, or Grand Abolisher. And then my favorite old card, and Logan judged me for it, so I changed it last second. But I originally had Croaking Counterpart as my favorite old card, and I was like, bro, it's so cool. It just makes frog. It clones other.
You really haven't played
stuff.
it this year.
I know I haven't, but it's a fun card. But my actual favorite old card for this year is Underworld Breach. It's just been like the rock in every deck I've played this year for the most part. It is super efficient, wins on turn 2, wins on turn 30, like busted card.
Wins
overall.
on top of the stack.
Yeah. It's the best Necro win condition, just because it works with both Valley Floodcaller and Born Upon a Wind, unlike Thassa's Oracle. It's super efficient in the regard that, like, when you're in the end step with all your Necro cards, you cast the Born Upon a Wind, you cast all your rituals, you cast the Breach, and then you can reuse all those rituals again, or you can reuse the tutor that you got Breach with originally.
Yeah, I don't think there's any argument from any of us that how good Breach is.
Yeah.
I think it's
best win con in the format, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not even close. Breach is if it resolves, you have lost, right? Like, that's pretty much where we're at with that card at this point.
Austin and Eric, you want to talk about Jax's new and old?
So for the listeners, his new card that he really likes is actually an Aether Drift card.
Shit.
Bright Glass Gear Hulk. And then his old card is Banishing Knack. It's kind of funny to me. I have a hard time thinking of Banishing Knack as an old card because I basically think of it as coming out in the same set as Valley Floodcaller. But yeah, I think these two cards are a great example of how I'm pretty sure I've seen Jax play every single CH deck that has ever existed, and he also will never escape the image of being a Derevi player.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Bright Glass Gear Hulk specifically, this card is just it's a double demonic tutor when it comes to like playing Yoshi Thras or Derevi. It can find 2 advantage engines, it can find a candelabra and whatever else you need it to. It can find basically anything you need when you're playing Bant to try to close out the game. And he's just a big fan of that card. I know that's like his first creature tutor when he's playing Derevi.
This card is insane with Displacer Kitten.
Oh,
you literally go like free rock, one drop. Oh, here's everything in my deck in play.
Yep.
Yeah.
The other question is, do you guys know why he doesn't like Retraction Helix then? Why is it Banishing Knack over Retraction Helix?
I don't know, but I'm sure there's a great reason.
It can't be. I know Retraction Helix is worth more points in Scrabble, so it can't be the value of the individual letters in a different game.
Do you know why?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
For listeners at home, they're literally functionally the same card.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
We've got to find out. That's, you know what? It's one of my cEDH goal for 2026 is figuring out why Jax likes banishing that more than Retraction Helix.
Fair enough. I think we've got a good collection of cards, and I think there was only once where I was like, "Hey, don't pick that card," because I already picked it, and we all have very different tastes. So I think this was pretty cool. Just to recap where we're at end of the year, apparently winning Fringefest really shot me up in Elo, so I'm sitting at rank 5 right now.
Dude, I'm so washed. I'm so washed, bro. I used to be 3rd in summer. Now I'm like 27th.
Jason's like, Fringefest was really bad for my
I want to hit over 2,000 if I can this year. I don't know if it's gonna be hard. I'm gonna immediately lose like my first event of January, but it's all right.
Get completely cooked.
Yeah, I think we've got a really good spread. I mean, to see everyone above 1,500 is awesome. Like 1,500 is even above average itself. I think average elo is like 14 something.
I'm pretty sure it's like 1504 or something like that.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like I said, Jackson Austin sitting right around 200. And then this is where we're at with championship points. Jason's still higher than me, unfortunately. I'm capped on bronzes and silvers, so I can't really.
I'm not capped on my silvers, so
my silvers are bleeding into bronzes. It's not good. But I think that there's a pretty good shot we will see at least 4, if not 5 of us at the Invitational.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially with Jax going to Rumble, if he top cuts that event or even like top 40s, he'll get a bunch of points.
Yeah.
Speaking just like frankly in here, like I'm incredibly proud of my like position for the top deck points right now. My goal this year or this season was to make top deck invitational, and I'm in that running right now. I've been kind of floating between 20 and 40 for the last few weeks.
Well, you're locked for mid-season.
Sorry?
You're locked for mid-season.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty locked for mid-season. I want to actually keep pushing, and hopefully we go to enough big events and can run enough golds here in Denver that we get enough points to be able to do it.
It's weird how like the hunger for it like gets more when you're like close, right?
Yeah.
Because you're like you can taste it. You're already in the top 64, right? And the likelihood of someone surpassing you or 30 players surpassing you between now and the midseason is 0. But like,
yeah,
I've been where you're at, and like I just want it even that much worse when I'm at where you're at.
I mean, realistically, like I'm trying to doing the tournament math on the actual top deck invitational. Last year, I think what got people in was around like 880, and if I can land at like 1,000 points, that I'll feel relatively safe. So I need to perform at some gold events, and hopefully, we're going to quite a few large events soon. So
my goal this next year is to like beat my previous season. So I think like 16 or 1,800 championship series points. So hopefully I can get there at least.
Dude, Jorman's mogging us. He's at like 1,400 already.
Yeah, well, he's got a pretty free scene, I'm not gonna lie.
We don't need to cope. He's doing well. He's doing great.
I know. I know he watches these videos, so.
Shout out to Jorman. But yeah, I mean, I think we have a pretty big year lined up for us. Like I thought last year was big, but it seems like this year.
Yeah, it'll be our first full year together, right?
Full season, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even last year, like I made like a decent push at the end there, and then just like scrubbed out at Mortal Kombat. But like, I topped 16 or top 4 or top 16 a bunch of locals and like made a good push. I just like the first half of the season last year when I was still learning the format, I was so useless. Man, I was so bad at this game.
I'm bad now.
Me too.
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing I
think
didn't.
it's
Okay,
just,
go
it's
ahead,
just
Eric.
so satisfying to like be a part of like a team where everyone's like growing and pushing and we all have highs and we all have lows, but at the end of the day, we're all headed in the same direction. I think I just find it like so motivating and so encouraging. And especially like I can't think of a single tournament I've gone to where there wasn't at least like one person to celebrate, right? You know, I can think of a lot of tournaments where I didn't do anything particularly worth like a victory lap, but there was always someone who, you know, made top cut or made top 4 or like brought like a really spicy brew or there's just I just feel like there's always something going on that's exciting and they just, you know, just rallies the troops. You know, I think that's for me become a way that like being a part of the Critical EDH team is now like permanently meshed with like my cEDH experience. And
There hasn't been an event
it's like a
yet
fun
where
way.
all of us have crashed out and not made top cut.
Are we ready for Rumble, gang?
Oh no, it's Rumble. It's Royal Rumble.
That's really funny.
The other thing I was going to say was something I didn't mention. There's 2 logos here for the channel. We've actually gone through a logo change already in the middle of the year. Tim, you know, before Fishbowl 5, he was on the plane drawing us a logo because he just like he wanted to support us. And then afterwards we got our playmats done, and that's the second logo you see there. But we've even gone through some like, you know, branding changes and stuff, and we kind of use both logos sometimes, but it's just interesting to see both. And last but not least, some of the funny memes and pictures we've seen this year. This is quite the iceberg of things. I don't know if we can talk about every single thing here, but if you guys want to shout anything out, you can start.
There's the Matt Hayes comment in the the Matt Hayes in the comments if you guys are this far in the video. And then also
I'll give away something to one of the Matt Hayes commenters.
Okay, yeah, there's your incentive right there. Right next to Matt Hayes' face is Hazen and Elias with the Adidas hoodie fit when at the EG Gold event this year.
Didn't they both like top 16 that event too?
So Hazen top 4 that event, and then Elias top 16 that event, and Hazen actually took him out, and then I took out Hazen.
Yeah.
And then next to that is me sleeping at the Denny's at after Mortal Kombat. Like straight up, I was passed out on the table sleeping.
And then below,
I'm a huge do not retaliate and you will be rewarded enjoyer.
I was back in RFD land with wrong side. And then here's Jason sleeping on the way to Fishbowl 6 on the plane.
Yeah.
So just various Jason sleeping. Here's a waffle photo of Jason. I don't know, he's been doing some silly photos lately.
That was at Combat, yeah.
That was at Combat, yeah.
And then here's our local TIM player, Josh. He just loves to like mug the camera anytime I take a photo of him.
Yeah.
He's like the actual personification of TIM, though.
What do you mean?
Like just like that is the face of someone that looks like he's winning with TIM.
No, guys, my 16th stacks piece isn't winning me the game yet.
Yeah.
Even he's like, I don't want to be here.
Let's see what else we've got. A classic is the 11-hour game at the top. The last person who leaves the game gets the cradle. And then the screenshot from Kevin was also from that event, but he was like standing in front of the projector, like watching the event at like the space. And he says, I never should have smoked that shit. Now I'm trapped in the 5+ hour stream of the finals pod. And he just, I thought that was really funny.
There's Max P memes.
Various
too.
Max P memes. We've got him at Disney, him falling in love with an AI robot because people give him shit for posting AI stuff on Twitter when they shouldn't.
There's like Chad Max P.
Dude, he's
That
saying
was-
some Squidward.
That was Fishbowl as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was his.
So,
So
yeah.
he posted like a selfie of him on the plane going to Fishbowl, and Logan like put it through some filter or whatever. We had the infamous Taiga untapping. We've
Yeah, we'll
got
talk about that.
freaking Eric's audio problems this year. Like, the funniest part about this is when I watched one of comedians' videos, and on the outro, comedians like, "Well, yeah, I couldn't post this one interview with the Critical guys because for some reason
My audio
equipment got cooked with Eric. Like, it's not just our equipment; it's his equipment too."
Yeah. Audio problems find a way, bro.
What? Oh yeah. The Pizza Parker. Just thought like I thought the set was just so bad, and it like
Oh, dude, that photo of Isaac with the Italian,
yeah. Mindful
That-
white boy speak a little Italian.
that like rundown Taco Bell like
Oh, it's so
pizza
good.
place was so insanely good.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't remember. It was Angry Pete's, I think, in San Diego.
Okay.
This was from our Discord. TNT, TNK, Tindo Dargo, and Yuriko, and there's just like a clown like stacked up with the Marines outside the door.
They're obviously talking about TNT in that spot instead of.
Yeah.
True, bro.
I mean, just all the various like faces, like either I've made or other people have made at like Freedom, like Freedom's caught us on camera.
What's the TikTok meme? Like the bunny rabbit
bunny?
meme?
I don't know. It's just
That was a rule. It was a rule of law meme.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
like the J one too. Judge J.
Jage.
Jage.
He sent like a bunch of question marks when I sent him that. I was dying laughing when I was making that. Obviously Tim capturing an emu,
I thought that was funny.
and
Bro,
then
That one was funny to me because
Did you see the quote on the newspaper that they wrote with Tim?
yeah, he's like, sometimes you just have to catch the emu.
Yeah.
And- Yeah, go ahead.
I think the funniest part of that for me was when I misread the Facebook post and I thought it was a picture of Tim's brother, not a post by Tim's brother, and I was aghast at how similar they looked. I think I put in our group chat, I was like, as an identical twin, I cannot get over how similar Tim and his brother
oh my
look.
god, that really looks like Tim. I was like, that is Tim. You're like, I don't understand. Can you
I was like, guys, I can't get over this. I'm obsessed.
What's the Blake meme? Is he just
That's
eating?
Chase.
Oh,
That's
okay.
nice.
Yeah,
Is
this
he just eating the mic?
He's
Yeah,
just throating that mic, dude. He's the throat goat.
Well, anyway, I think that's pretty much all we have. We've had a pretty solid year.
Did we do a slide where it was like each of our favorite moments this year or no?
No.
Oh, like maybe we should do that.
Well, do you have a quick one?
I think the whole Heisenberg trip was awesome. Like it was my first time leaving the state for an event, and I top 4'd the event. It felt good.
My favorite story about that is your paper packing list where you had to like check things off.
Bro, it was my first time traveling without my parents, so I was just like, what do
No.
we pack?
The best part of that story, that
My-
Heisenberg story, is on the way home. Jason lets us know that he hasn't told his parents where he was for 4 days.
We're like, where do they think you are? Like,
we're like, oh, he's gonna die for a week. Like he's gonna be locked up, dude.
he's a victim of human trafficking for 3.5 days. This is my cEDH goat, by the way. Like doesn't know what to pack.
Oh, I guess the other most memorable moment for me this year was after the Top Deck Envy when Dexter, Shaka, Duncan, me, Austin, and a bunch of other Colorado people went to this pizza shop right outside of the Steel City venue, and we just sat there for like 6 hours in the shop ordering pizza and just playing CDH. Like I played two-headed commander with Jace playing Chatterfang Kinnan, and we're both like, should we draw from the Kinnan's Ristic Study from the Chatterfang deck or the Kinnan deck?
Yeah. Favorite like moments of mine was top 16 Fishbowl. That was a good time. And then also at Pittsburgh playing Dan with Jace's T&K deck. And I landed a tutor, and like the whole idea with like Dan is just finding demonic consultation and
Blue Farm Dan specifically.
Yeah, Blue Farm Dan, right? Yeah, and so like the whole idea is just like cast a demonic consultation or a tainted pact and make the other person draw a card and you win the game. And I demonic tutored and didn't see a demonic consultation in the deck. So I found a mental misstep and then proceeded to just get killed by Crom. And I was like, why didn't you cast Decon? And he's like, oh yeah, Decon's not in my deck right now. I was like, what the fuck are you saying? Like, he's like, yeah, because at the Envy, he wasn't playing Decon or Thorkel.
Yeah. And you did better than me, so who am I to say anything?
Yep, same.
Was he the guy that flew to the wrong city?
Yeah.
Yes. Jace texted me as we landed for the Envy in Pittsburgh or wherever.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah. And then he texts me. He's like, yeah, Jason, I might be like 8 hours out, actually, because we flew to the wrong city.
We flew to Philadelphia.
And I was like, Jace, you're such an idiot, bro.
The best part is it wasn't just Jace. Like, Jace came with someone, and they both did it.
Yeah. No, if it's Ryan's fault for this.
Oh, so funny. It was so funny.
Yeah, I think we should refer to making misplays as flying to Philadelphia. So is this like a flying to Philadelphia situation, or is it like, you know?
Oh man, I tutored for Philadelphia. I'm an idiot.
My favorite memory of this year was actually Land Go with Eric, and just I feel like you and I showed up with like a plan of like we're working, that is priority number one, right? But then once we got all of that stuff out of the way and we got into like a good flow and everything like that, like it stopped being work very quickly. Even though like we were still being professional, we were still doing everything we needed to do, we were just having fun. And like that whole event and casting the event and just everything that went along with that was just it was something else.
Yeah, like we were so busy on day 2 that we weren't even able to like leave the stream room to go get our own DoorDash food. Like we were packed. Like we were so busy the entire time, but I completely agree with you. Like within like 30-45 minutes, once we started like plugging stuff in, it was just like it's like that like sweet spot when you're pulling like an all-nighter in college. You're just in like this zen flow state, and you know that there's no way you're doing things correctly, but it feels correct, and so you're just riding that wave into task, and it was just so much fun. I enjoyed it. I completely agree with you. I think that for me, the experience that I had like casting and streaming with you at Land Go has now become the like point of crystallization or the template that I'm now looking to like replicate throughout my like CEDH career of like that's the type of fun I want to have, that's the type of work I want to be doing. Because it was just so much fun. Emily and Nick got modded, and you had like the little like counters under people's cards of like screen, like people were drawing cards.
Yeah, it was funny because I don't remember what the situation was, but there was like a T&K with a Ristic, and they're like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. And I was like, cards T&K is drawn off this Ristic, and it's like 26 or something like that. Yeah, it was just fun.
Also,
was that the triple Rogside game?
I don't.
Yeah.
Was it?
Oh, that was Maddie's Ristic then, and they lost to Jay Wood's Rogside.
Mm.
Yeah, because I think there were 5 wheels in 1 turn rotation.
Jesus. The pure delight that Eric had while casting that event and seeing someone in the like top 16 game being on his Lumra deck and
It
being
was
like,
so
guys, I
perfect.
got this. Like, oh, it was so great watching him like just
Yeah, it
ignite
was so
life.
much fun. And props to it. The guy's name is his like kind of moniker, his esports name is Disturbed, but his IRL name is Justin. Super duper cool guy. It's the I don't know if anyone like the Discord is I think about 2,000 people now. Like before Land Go, like basically no one had heard of him. I think he's another guy who has a background. I think he has a background in Yu-Gi-Oh, but he basically picked up the deck and started playing it like 1 or 2 months before the tournament. And then since then, he's just taken a lot of people in the Discord under his wing. He like tests stuff really aggressively. He's just a really, really great guy. And for me, it's such a great example. It's one of the things I love about being in cEDH content creation is I had no idea who he was before that tournament. Honestly, I didn't realize that I actually like said hi and talked to him during the tournament. I just had no idea who he was till afterwards. And it was just so much fun because he's now like a household name to me in the Build a Bear workshop, and he's just a really good pilot, a really good guy. And it's just I never would have met him if it weren't from getting to like be a part of like casting and stuff. I think I would probably say like Land Go was probably the top moment for me. I think one in a similar vein was when we were hosting Mortal Kombat, and while Logan, Goldie, and Emily were at Post Malone, the top 16 game where uh, Pigeon won on Italy just finished. And things are going pretty good. So I was like, hang on, we're gonna take a quick break. Everything's going really good, so we should be able to get to top four pretty quickly. See you guys in a second. I like switch to like the waiting screen, and then Austin comes up to me and he goes, Eric, we have a huge problem. I was like, how bad could it be? And he's like, we need to be out of here in like an hour. And I was like, okay, we just gotta get top four started. How long can it take? And like Timogen and Max were like, like at a table talking about how like that like super gnarly top 16 game that they had that like went to time, and it took like forever to get top four started, and it was just this like mad dash to get out of like Dave and Buster's.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun because I think that we oftentimes do stuff as like the critical EDH team. But there's also this just like huge group of people. I think of like Jay is like part of this, Dom is part of this, as well as just a ton of other people who are just, just like very, very like kind and compassionate people who wanted to like donate time or energy to help. And so you just had this like mob of like 15 people just shoving electronics into milk crates and trying to get out as quick as possible. While people who make minimum wage are desperately trying to get home after being there for like 18 hours. And it was just, I think that the energy that was there, it was just very improvisational, and definitely tried my patience at some points, but overall just so much fun. I
There were so many
remember,
times where I tried to like step in and like help you cast, and I would for like a few minutes or whatever, and I was like, I got to go do something like to help TO this event, and you're like, okay, I got it, and
Yeah,
I'm just like looking over at you. I'm like, do you want like food or something? And you're like, yeah, sure, whatever. And I'm like, I would like bring you a plate of chicken fingers and or like a
just
sweet tea
orphaned
or something.
out.
Yep.
The randomest stuff happened. Like that one guy was scooting in his chair super far back because he was in a winning position and didn't want to accidentally bleed cards. And in doing so, he pulled out the sole extension cord that we got from Dave and Buster's, bringing the entire stream down. Also, I don't know what it was, but something about that little table that we had all the stream equipment on was just like a magnet for people's like food. So every time we turned around, there'd be like a Walmart bag or this like plate of like, like Diet Cokes and Pepsis right next to all the most expensive equipment we possibly could have brought. And so for like 10 hours, I was like playing like, linebacker, like defense against, this like one. Oh, it was just so much fun. There were so many little things. I think being on the tournament running side of things is an adrenaline rush in my mind, equivalent to making top cut or being in top four, and requires just as much problem solving, albeit a little bit less bending of the truth and gaslighting.
And it's just as hard to get to the point where you're running a tournament that's that large as well as it is Top Cut, right? Because it takes a lot of planning. It takes a lot of like you have to know people that want to attend your tournament and all of those things. And like we feel very privileged to even be in a space where we can bring 122 people together.
I can't believe Logan one day was like, we're gonna make a tournament, and then like literally like 2 months later, we were hosting this event.
It was 6 weeks, Jason.
Oh,
It was like
okay.
there was
my
literally
beer.
a conversation that happened outside of AEG, and Logan's like, "Hey guys, like, there's 4 of us here. This is happening. Let's figure it out." And we're like, "Okay, like let's get started. Like let's actually do this shit." And planning that tournament was very fun.
I think there's more than there's a couple people that made the invitational because of that tournament, right?
Yeah, Jesse, the person who actually won the event, got enough points from this event to make it.
Yeah. I also think Adler like secured his spot because he won the gold the night before and then top 16 to platinum.
Right, because we had like a kind of a double hitter, right? We had the gold the night before and then the platinum the next day.
Mhm.
Yep.
But that was cool. It was definitely a fun experience.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what next year brings. But I think for now, we have overstayed our welcome on this podcast.
Dude,
And we
this is a
hit the
long
3-hour 30 mark.
Yeah.
one. Yep.
All right. Anything else for the good of the order?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Remember,
All right.
guys, the Matt Hayes in the comments.
And you'll win something. I don't know what. We'll figure it out.
Win something.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you
Bye,
next
guys.
year.